embracing organics.
Is everybody in? Is everybody in? I see 7 viewers. Looks like it's about to begin. I see man. 5 likes. Man, that's a pretty darn good average right there, everybody. Oh, and I'm looping. Let me pause my stuff here.
Looping. I have to make sure that I'm doing it too, because I'm just opening everybody.
I have to.
Bang. I just muted everything. Cheers, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Works out for me, just like that.
I want to do a little quick feedback. I know we only got a few people here, but what do you guys think about the new date and time?
New year?
New year, new you?
Time?
Yeah,
new
man.
you. Cheers, everybody. I'm going to have to go back and pull up chat.
To pull my thing out. And we've got to...
pull your thing out.
Sound
Holy
right, yeah.
Cow, Skilbo.
I've got to pull my chat out.
Got to remember, we moved time slots here,
Skilbo. I'm struggling.
That's after that midnight shit, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to pop our chat out. We're going to make sure that when we do, we're going to switch over to live chat so we can have the most chat experience that there is to be had.
Live chat while you're hanging out with us in here. Man.
What's up, Abolished?
Oh, struggling to get live chat up, man.
This is me too. I had it up, and then I started looping, and I had to go back and find some other stuff. So we got Uncle Rick. Let's be buds in
Magnetar.
Chat. Cheers, bro. Gabe
Blue
in
Kiss.
Chat. AJ. Blue Kiss. Becca G. Becca will be joining us shortly. She was babysitting her siblings, and
she said
we have Magnetar in chat throwing up some hang loosies. Cheers, everybody. Yeah, never able to stay up for old time. That's one of the reasons,
brother.
We decided to bring back the time a couple hours, and also switch the day a little bit, just because that 4 hour run, I like it. I don't mind it. By the time I get to this show, though, I tend to get real slow, and the topic tends to just sort of drag on at the end, just because we've just been going for so long already and conversating. I figured get a couple days in between us hanging out, we get a chance to.
And the flip side of that, though, is that's like I was saying in the pre-show. I'll give a shout out to chat right now, because I was talking about y'all in the pre-show.
Jason Eystone, cheers, brother.
I said, the thing is, the reason that I like us moving to this different date and time is because I think we can have more people will be able to come through and catch it when it's live rather than in the replay the next morning. Because
I agree.
The one thing that I love about you guys is I love the way that you share your information and your experiences with us.
He's talking about you, chat.
Yeah, I'm talking about you, chat. And I told Red before the show, I said, it's fucking awesome, man. I said, because I learned just as much from the chat as I do from damn Red. What are we holding up there?
Dude, it's a bag of shrimp.
It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the grape jelly.
This is my trim. There's some nug meat in there, so that's what I'm smoking on. This is what I smoke on, guys.
I don't. What we do.
Nothing special for me. All the good goes to my patients. And
right.
It's all the same.
Free Seed says, "Dope. Is this a permanent move?" Yes, it is a permanent move. Thursday nights at 9 p.m. is the new time for Polarity Science Behind the
It's gonna be the new time, at least until spring. Yeah. We get to a point where it's still daylight at this time,
right?
And I kind of need to be outside and in the garden tending.
We'll call it our winter schedule.
Yeah. It's kind of a winter schedule for right now. Once we get through daylight savings or spring forward or whatever you want to call that one.
Bring forward, fall back,
lose an hour, man. Daylight losings or whatever it is. We'll probably move to like a 9:30 or just some sort of like we'll be on cannabis time or something like that. At that point, it might just be a little bit fashionably late of the 9 o'clock hour. So, but I like this time slot. I feel like it's a nice prime time. Everybody's getting ready to wind down. Probably have some food in your belly and you're ready to smoke that after grub smoke or snack or whatever.
Well, the kids are, you put the kids to bed and it's time to sit down and maybe smoke a bowl or just sit back with a cup of coffee or tea and hang
another
out.
Hour from now and you might actually be dozed out listening to us chitter chatter.
He says daylight losers that we are.
We learned how many years now that 9 p.m. is a pretty good time for us to get on here and do this.
That's when I jumped in with the Bro Show Live. Originally was like, because Cheap Home Growing with my fellow growers was on Sunday nights at 7. So they're on for 2 hours. I was like, well, fuck, we could just come through with Bro Show Live right after them and have like a cannabis block on Sunday nights. And here we are like 2.5 years later, man. So
already seen a handful of new faces in chat. I have LG, Martin M, Aldi, K Good Farms, cheers. Indica B, what's
Grown
going
man
on, brother?
holler. I
Happy
see
to see
you.
you in here.
It's delicious.
I appreciate your comment earlier. So you're happy about the new time slot as well. Thank you very much, man. It's good to see everybody in here chatting away. I hope you're all having a good New Year as well, man. Yeah, we canceled the first episode. I did.
Dude, I had a rad one too.
Let's start with you guys though. Abolished. How's the beginning of your new year? What do you have in the works? Let's say, how's the garden?
Garden's doing pretty good. I got the only thing new coming out of there, other than the OG and the sour melon, as always, is been working with the monkey head. Yeah,
it's looking good.
I'm actually able to smoke one of the phenos so far. It's got like a nice little kind of blueberry tang to the tongue. I'm really curious to see what that's going to be like in a month or so when it's got some time to really cure out. And yeah, I know, guys, you laugh. A month of curing is a long time for me. I'm lucky if it lasts that long.
That's a long time for me as well.
Yeah.
Oh, we've listened to you for 2 years about sour melon. Anybody got sour melon? Anybody got sour melon coming up? I'm out of sour melon, man.
Yeah, it's to the point where like I love my monocrops, but I'm like sticking a sour melon in the corner just so I know I always have a rotation.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do sometimes. Yeah.
But yeah,
most of the monocrop.
Well, I've seen you working with jars and substrate too now. Get that rolling, right?
Yeah, are you talking about the mycology end or
Okay.
So yeah.
The mycology side of things.
So I got a new project I'm starting up in the Myco lab, if you want to call it that. And I'm going to be setting up some touchless monotubs basically. Ooh. Once they're inoculated and ready to go from the jar point or your Uncle Ben's or whatever you like to start with. You set it in there, you spray with your whatever kind of spray you like to do, seal it and hope for the best from that point. And the only time you're going to open that again is when you go to harvest.
So let's walk this back for a second because not everybody's up to speed on it. So you're using like a Martha tent, right?
Well, for these, you wouldn't put in you don't put in a Martha tent. You can just literally stack these in the corner of a house. That's the whole reason why I want to try and like master these. Like I haven't done these in the past. I've just been studying them really, really hard from people that seem to really, really know what they're doing, like Pop Shrooms. You can find him on Instagram and YouTube. Who else?
Was that Pop Shrooms or Papa Shrooms?
Papa Shrooms, Detroit Mush Lab. He's got a few of them because they're always kind of shutting these things down and whatnot. Let's see. Kind of lost my train of thought there where I was going.
I'm still jamming the Althea in the background, man. I got my shit still playing.
But yeah, I'm setting up those tubs and I'm hoping that really works out well because that makes, I'm all about trying to figure out the techniques that everybody can do anywhere they are. I mean, that's how I was with my cannabis. I want an easy process to teach to people. And if I can figure out some tricks and whatnot and the fail safes to that, because I try to be honest, if it sucks and it doesn't work out, I'm going to tell you. So, I mean, if that works out, that's a game changer for a lot of people.
Do you know why I would like that? I'm thinking of, even though I'm a homeowner, I'm thinking of all the people out there that rent and get those funky ass inspections and shit. And it's a hell of a lot easier to just throw a towel over a tote than it is to try to hide this big ass fucking tent in your closet. Be like, nope, nothing going on here, boss.
Yeah, I mean, you can clearly see that you're going to get better performance out of running a Martha, but that right there, the wins for the mobility and whatnot, like
mobility, that's like that moving a garden at night shit, right? Just get the U-Haul, back it up to the garage and wait, have somebody on the lookout on the streets. All right, we're going to do this real quick. Hold on. Hurry up.
And just for like,
alleyway struggle.
Think of like on the not even just the healing end, but the food end right there. Like I see lots of box of mushrooms and stuff like that going out. Like
yeah,
that kind of stuff Absolutely. Is the way.
Well,
I think.
And you could also say that these are fucking lion's mane or some other shit because most people don't know. But it's really hard to say that a cannabis plant is an asparagus.
I believe that the legalities surround the fruiting bodies as well. I don't think that the mycelium is illegal.
Which shouldn't be. Mycelium is.
Man, that's a tough one, dude. Mycelium contains psilocybin, so I really don't know. Which is, I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg that's the illegal portion of it. Chat, help us out with that one. I suppose I can.
I thought it was just the actual like harvesting part. Everything up to that is science.
Science.
Good old high in the science.
That's why I got you guys. You guys understand the science. I just roll up the sleeves and do things.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the mycelium deal. There is psilocybin mycelium all beneath our feet, probably just about everywhere when we're walking in the forest.
Forest for sure.
You know, they can't legislate the forest that much, I suppose.
Don't get carried away.
What's the old what's the Graham Hancock phrase? Legislating
my consciousness.
Do
not legislate my consciousness.
Not legislate the consciousness. And then Terence McKenna's old famous
line. Terence McKenna says that they don't
with the regard to DMT.
Right. And Terence, I'm going to butcher a Terence McKenna quote, but it's something like this. It says, the government doesn't ban hallucinogenics because they care or because they're afraid you're going to jump out of a window. They legislate these things because they lead to a change in your perception, and sometimes it can also have an effect on your outlook and your whole personality. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the reasons that old TMK uses that. And the first time I heard that, I was like, you know what, man, that actually makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, especially if you look at the timeline with where they like blacklisted all of these substances. You know, there was a time where I think like 5-MeO and DMT was discovered in like 1936. Okay, DMT,
hell of a discovery.
Yeah, like you know how long ago that was. They were doing research on it. They were researching LSD. They were researching psilocybin for a good 20 years until like 1970 when they actually started creating the what was it? Where they created the scheduling. What was that? They created the DEA. Was that the creation of the DEA
at that point? Richard Nixon,
something like that. Up until that point, and you know the entire thing with that was motivated by politics that had to do with the consumers of these substances were radically liberal. You know, well, maybe not necessarily. They assumed them to be radically liberal, but in the I mean, you become more free at heart. You become more free with your thoughts. You become more just wanting to be free when you start to take these substances. You start to see all of the not just societal pressures, we actually see ecological pressures. You see what we are as a species and things like that when you start to step out of the boundaries behind the veil and this and that. And for a lot of people,
right there, bro.
Yeah, like that. For a lot of people, they tend to step out of the societal norms and to governments that is scary to them, you know, because they're afraid of rebellion and things, even though my motive is not a rebellion. My motive is free thought, free, you know, in this case, free speech, the ability to get education out to others. I suppose in that sense, because it's taboo, it is a case of rebelling, but that's not my motive. My motive is the educational aspect. You know, it is a new year, so I guess we'll begin the new year with kind of talking about what this channel is, where we've come, where we're probably going. You know,
to the moon, baby.
To the moon, always, man. You know, and with this, where we've come is harm reduction. You know, there's a lot more people. There's probably more access today than there was 10 years ago, than there was 20 years ago, probably less than there was 60 or 70 years ago because of this illegalities. When we go back to when, you know, in the 50s and the 60s, when they were researching LSD and psilocybin, lots of breakthroughs. They probably would have advanced mental health a lot further.
Dude, don't even get me started on that. Think of how many people we were talking about fundamental changes that outside things that you ingest can change you. Sometimes the medications that they put you on will change you in ways that you don't like.
Sure.
And you know, that's kind of what led me back into cannabis, to use it as a medicine rather than just recreationally when I was younger. Is, you know, I was on like 5 or 6 different prescriptions, and And I used them for like a year, and it made a lot of changes in my life, but I didn't feel that they were a fair trade-off for me. So that led me to investigate trying to figure out which kind of cannabis I could try to cultivate for myself that I could use as my medicine. And as things have gone on, it's funny. I've been, let me see. My first experience with mushrooms was like 32 years ago or something like that. So, I've used that recreationally too. But now that I've found about the beauty of microdosing and the effects that it can have on long-term depression and PTSD and things like that, it's definitely another tool in my toolbox that I'm very interested in trying to learn more about. So that's why I love the show, love the stream, and the sharing of information.
Sarah, listening to you guys talk about this, it's kind of giving me like a little bit of an epiphany. Like I've always kind of associated drugs or psychedelics and whatnot being illegal for somewhat racist needs. And now it's seeming like, yeah, that's part of it. But another part of it was to control the way we're thinking. Like when all that stuff came out, what was going on in the world? We were getting, the war machine was starting to fucking pump its way and get going. And like, that's what it was all about.
And the 90s were huge for fucking people having violence. Violence. Yeah. People think that it's violent in the 2020s, and it's really not compared to the numbers that it was in the 1990s. Yeah. That's when they really cranked up the machine on the war against drugs.
They did.
People think it's Nancy Reagan and shit like that.
Things like
it's really not.
All came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
It got worse in the 90s. It really did. The mandatory minimums got worse in the 90s. That was in the Clinton era. Yep. I believe they
well, that's the thing is, it doesn't matter which political party it is either. I'm not trying to make anything political, and I'm basically taking out the wind out of those sails right now by saying that Reagan was a Republican and Clinton was a Democrat. So
we just talked about them both. Yep, exactly. Right. Politics of this. The point is that they were against the counterculture. Didn't matter which counterculture it was.
Great point.
The counterculture that was of a different race, the counterculture that was of a different gender, the counterculture that was of a different mindset. They didn't want those types of freedoms to exist.
It's just wrong thinking, because psychedelics don't lead to violence.
They do not. Absolutely do not.
Lead you to not going to sign up to do violence for other people's greedy needs.
I think we've talked
about the Aussie, right?
We've talked about
the war pigs
studies where they've studied prisoners, violent prisoner rates, getting out, those that have had psychedelic encounters with psychedelics, I suppose, psychedelic experiences, things like that. Astronomically lower if they've used psychedelics than if not. I suppose those are just prison statistics, but
it's the lasting effects.
People, I suppose.
It's like if you use LSD, it's not like using any other drug, in so much as drugs of addiction tend to see an increase in that behavior. So what starts off as one thing may lead to something else and quickly snowball and spiral out of the way. But we've all heard the story of a friend of a friend of a cousin's sister's brother's baby daddy's boyfriend, something like that, he took X, just add in X, whatever the thing is and the amount is, and he's just went crazy and never came back.
I'm curious if changing the term from addiction to dependency may psychologically trick yourself into wanting to not be dependent on something, right? The term addiction is just so casual, it almost seems today, right? But what you really are is you've become dependent on something, and we all want to be in charge of ourselves.
Again, right? It's let's not focus on the symptoms, let's focus on the disease. And so the disease is that everyone is trying to either work through something, work around something, get better coping skills, management, something like that, which leads you to these kinds of behaviors, whether it's an escapism or whether it's trying to be functional. Cheers, Tara. I see you.
Tara. Jay, I got to do a quick little shout out to chat because we are growing.
Cheers, family.
Kingfisher's in chat. Delta 9, JMB, handcrafted. I see ball up coming on.
We need
here.
to get the magic mirror. We need a hand mirror that has no mirror in it. So it's like the romper room. I see Delta 9 and JMB and Tara, and I see you. Come on, somebody knows romper room out there. Don't let me be alone on an island.
Got
here,
you. Man. Unfortunately, Skilbo.
No.
What? Yeah. That's because you're young, man. You're not of that age, as they say.
I will blame my youth there. Anything that
I just told you that I used mushrooms 32 years ago.
It's named after
something like that.
A one-piece jumpsuit. I gotta skip, dude. Sorry.
Thanks for making me feel young.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Appreciate that.
Always talk to somebody older if you want to feel younger. Just don't get it twisted, because when you talk to younger people, they're going to think you're that person that's the older person. So
shout out to all the
thank you, Scott. Thank you, family. See, they know.
More knowledgeable,
they know.
More experienced folk out there. Appreciate you. Appreciate your time, most importantly, that you have put into this planet.
Keep speaking up, because we're kind of dumb nowadays. We need the guidance.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Okay,
man?
Scott says it was on PBS. There we go. Another old. You talked about.
Scott did have a question. He was wondering if anybody felt like they got more high when they smoked outside in the cold. I'm guessing if that question has to do with maybe air density, or maybe the fact that you can intake more cannabinoids in that respect.
It's a cooler hit.
Cooler hit. Ooh, Skilbo thinks it's just
I actually don't feel anything when I'm outside and it's super cold. I'm just pissed that I'm outside and I'm had to smoke outside in the cold. But when I come inside and that heat hits me, whoa, man, that is like a super, like, just come on of being stoned.
I do feel like I can put more air in my lungs when I am outside and it's cold. That I do feel. Whether or not there's more absorption, I don't believe in more absorption. I think that our receptors can only take in so many at a time. And I think that they get, I don't think backed up is the right, but I think the oversaturated.
Satiated.
And so I think that once we get through a couple of tokes anyways, we're there. And we're not going to get too much further.
You're not smoking the same boof I am, my friend.
I guess
it's
more than challenge accepted.
3 or 4.
You know what it is for me? Mine is I love that first joint of the day, dude. That first joint of the day. It's not, the flavor is great and everything else, but you get that like super mellow effect. It's a good way to start.
Curious though, because it's not to say I can't, like, if I eat an edible, it's almost like there's no ceiling with edibles. But with smoking, it seems like there's a ceiling and I plateau. And maybe it's what I'm smoking. Maybe it's because it's familiar genetics. Maybe I just need to smoke something unfamiliar, right?
That's strange.
Switch up that profile a little bit. Yeah, smoke that strange.
Cheers, Midwest.
I know that will definitely make me feel different. I have
some a THC hog with like no CBD in it. Just keep on smoking that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. No, sometimes I feel like what was it? The rosaberry. That gave me weird effects. I really felt high as shit off of that. That was like almost a 2-to-1 high CBD. Yeah. I liked that one. I still have some here, but it's a couple years old, and I guarantee it's high CBN, and that's not where I'm going to take this show at this moment in time. Might use it to go to bed though. To be honest,
dude, I'd be getting into that Granddaddy Purple fucking one. That's what I'd be getting into yours. You want to go to sleep?
Say that again. Also abolish hash.
I probably smoked that batch of rosa berries. I remember you growing that. Yeah.
I got a few more seeds. Yo, listen to the chimes and the bells. You hear that? That's hash time, everybody.
It's the incidental hash time.
Since Abolish is talking about it anyways.
You talk about that, and I remember when you were at we had that party at Old Man's house, and it was like Can of Kitten, M.I. No Till God. That's the day we baked, is the day that Red had that rosaberry. Because I remember he came in and he had that big fucking like zippered case. And I'm like, holy shit, he bring camera material? Nope, unzips it. There's just fucking jars.
Brought the tote. That one time I brought the
tote.
And just the tote. It wasn't like a tote of weed. It was a tote, and it had a bunch of jars. And it had all my bags of swag and all kinds of
I got swag and swag.
We were breaking down those seeds. Yeah.
Becca just arrived home, everybody. I apologize if I get a little distracted for a second.
Welcome home, Becca.
Becca, everybody says welcome home. I think she might have to change. Yeah, man. I believe her plan is to join. She wants to jump
That's
in.
what she said.
It was her. I was kind of just bringing it up. I was just kind of talking about
she hit me. This morning it was like,
didn't do a Sunday episode. And that was totally intentional. We've been on isolation for COVID quarantine. I felt ill but tested negative. Becca tested positive. We lived together. Chances are I was probably just either had a cold and my antibodies are doing their thing, or I was in a false negative. So we've just been isolated, not really feeling the best, but nonetheless, we got a shit ton of stuff done around the house, even the yard and stuff like that, despite the snow. Took there she goes. A load of plants to the farm, and got our other grow room finally up and running for the first time in over a year and a half, dude. Okay. I got everything figured out with all of my CG numbers and everything from the state MMMA system. So I have all of my patients. I'm totally protected by the state. Becca's totally protected by the state. We're both good to carry. We have a load of plants that are going out to the west side of the states for a commercial cultivator, and fortunately we're able to legally do a transaction through them. It's all great, man. It has to be cleaned on taxes. It's all groovy. Downside, bad news this week, guys.
Oh yeah,
this is it, man. This is the pendulum. It swings from a lot of good. There's going to be a swing of bad. I mean, I'm definitely going to talk about it on the show. We've been talking about it, so I probably won't talk about it on the Michigan Bro Show live. I might bring it up on the late sesh or something. So we'll see where topics end up going. Hopefully,
those never have direction anyway.
Getting brought up, you might see it in the news or something in the future. Hopefully, something does end up occurring. But my township did write an ordinance again. Not against caregivers, but restricting caregivers.
A bunch of new restrictions and new rulings, and
not just caregivers, but patients as well. They're restricting where you can consume, limiting to inside.
Oh, dude, those things were so bad. No one can be there, and no one can
smoke a doobie outside in your own property, even though they're requiring us to have an 8-foot fence. But
it has to be an obstructed.
And on 5 acres. Nowhere on my 5 acres I can smoke my weed outside. Go ahead.
But it's an obstructed view. You have to have an obstructed view, so you can't just have like an 8-foot chain link fence.
Right.
If you use that, you have to have those metal slats that goes.
It does.
Yeah.
It has to be a flat panel fence. Yeah, they stated, and they're opaque. I think opaque is their language.
Their fancy term. When you shared that, I was just like, holy fuck! Every one of these is just.
Can I have the headphones?
Oh, sure can.
Cut me in or cut it out. That's what she said.
The other one, the one that right. So I can live with that, man. I'm surrounded by some property, and it's been in my best interest to want to acquire that in the future anyways. I'm gonna slide over here for a second so she can jump in.
Where the camera can go this way.
Yeah, there you go.
Hi guys.
Hey, Becca.
Yo, hi Becca. Welcome home.
Happy New Year, Becca.
Happy New Year. Oh my gosh.
Chat.
Yeah, I do want to just say this to Becca before we start. The feedback is positive for the new date and time.
I was listening. Yeah. No, we talked about it a lot before. And so I just kind of was like, all right, time to make it happen.
Make a change.
I'm glad.
When you're the bosses, you just make those changes.
Yeah, we put it. I mean, it's going to be another night worth of broadcasting or whatever, but at this time of night,
it's all the same amount of time, though.
Anyways,
yeah.
That was the thing. Like, do we want another night? But staying up until sometimes 2 is hard when you have to work.
Dude, we're stoned by fucking 9:30 sometimes, so it's a fucking hell of a day. The other thing
I had
is,
to get my dab rig.
There we go.
What do you guys got for a concentrate tonight? Still got some for Girly left?
Yeah.
Or you got some new shit?
Barely.
No.
We had almost a
you guys were sitting swell for a while.
Pretty shy of a quarter ounce. We were like 5 grams or something.
7.
We had a quarter
7.
ounce. We had a quarter ounce. So
and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now we have some corners.
Now we have 6.
Cheers, Daddy Red.
Most of them are like
cheers, Daddy Red.
That's all that's left.
Blue kiss.
Super sad.
guys in
There's
here?
a little bit more.
Yeah, I've been out for a minute. We need an event or a gathering or something.
Dude, these dry really times are fucking sucking.
What blanket?
And now that Tara is way up north, we don't have the great Terra coaster driving around and hooking everybody up.
Man, Chad was talking about a sledding thing, or with the tubes. That might be an idea we might have to do.
You want me to bust out the SS Skilbo raft and try to run that bitch down a mountain?
You know, Crystal Mountain is kind of mid-state. We go up to Crystal Mountain. That's like mid-state. I think they have tubing. They used to have tubing.
Where's it at?
It's like mid-state, man. It's like fucking south of Gaylord, maybe.
That's up a ways. That's not mid-state. Mid-state is to count the UP. Shit.
I could be way wrong. It might be off 55. So it might be off 55 mid-state. So maybe like just below the 45th parallel, Uncle Rick, for you out there. Maybe like this part of maybe just north of Saginaw, but like a little more in the middle of the state. And this for you abolished.
Ooh, putting up the fucking live long and prosper, baby.
Live long and prosper for you guys. I think I tucked my thumb a little too far though.
What'd you do?
I gave him one.
You'll be wearing a red
fucking. As long as you can get the split, dude. That's what matters, because a lot of people can't.
I used to do.
I can't do it with my other hand
when I was a kid. You know,
you can't do it with that hand. You got to pinch them together.
I can't.
Look, you can't. Bring that pinky in there.
I can like.
Those that are audio only.
Cheers, Tara.
I did it.
Becca Stone gang signs.
Her ability.
Yeah, no, she's gripping over there.
She's Carhartt Club.
No, the other good thing about making this change is it's another night for, more content. And some people can join us that couldn't join us when we do the Hoot Owl sessions, We aren't moving the late sesh, though. That's got to stay where it's at.
No, late sesh. Here, let's plug it. Monday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern time for the late sesh. Skilbo, Spartan Grown, Ain't a Lady.
I heard they talk about aliens sometimes.
You forgot about Sequence.
Well, Sequence is floating head. He is there. Sequence.
No,
is
he has the great germinated seed now.
Head anymore.
Oh, he's not a floating head.
No, he's a germinated seed. Yeah.
Oh, great. That is true.
Sequence's seed is on the screen.
That's right. I'm so used to the old.
I need to swap. I need to swap his face with Oz when he's in like the actual floating form, and we'll just have him right there.
Oh, that's great. I like it.
Do not pay attention to the man behind the curtain. Okay, so I had an idea last week when we were going to do the show, and I want to just kind of go into this for a second.
Let's do it.
So this person on Reddit had a post, and they said that obviously use intention. When you do a larger than microdose of psilocybin mushrooms, and I was thinking about that. And I thought, that really is the key, is to always go into it with intention, and that you will be able to basically almost guide your opening experience. And when you come through that on the other side, a lot of times it'll take like a jagged turn for some folks, and they'll go in with one intention and it'll slip away from them halfway through. But it's like mindfulness. You just have to keep returning to that, almost as if it was like a mantra. So, for example, the next time that you do a dose, think of the word love. And you will see in the beginning that when you think about it, that you're thinking about you personally. I love my dog. I love my significant other. I love my folks. I love my truck. I love. But then what you'll see is that you'll transcend all that, and you'll see that, wow, it's really bigger than me. And it's seeing the interconnectedness between so many other things that the mushroom can help you see. And you'll be able to, on the other side of that, possibly, you'll be able to come through that and see, wow, man, I'm really getting hung up on some shit, and I really shouldn't be. Mindfulness and intention, I guess, is what I wanted to just kind of throw out there and get some feedback from you guys.
Definitely an intention anytime I'm doing anything larger than a micro, man, because like I'm it's you might get sick or whatever. Like I'm on a mission. Like if I'm gonna do that to myself, I'm needing to heal from something, or I'm needing my 3-month reset.
Is that what you figured out? Is that you have your own reset periods that kind of you start to. Yeah. And now, have you tried to experiment with your own microdosing, or are you just using it in macrodoses?
Microdoses, it doesn't stop me from having to have a reset. That's for sure.
Okay. Like, does it seem to extend that period?
No, it's.
Cheers, Ziggy.
I would say it seems like it's, like I said, about every 3 months I need it, and I actually missed it a little bit last time. I didn't realize I needed it, and it's like, wait a minute, I'm being a little bit of a dick. I should probably reset, and I reset.
Let's Be Bud says, so I'm preparing for microdosing for the first time. What's the dosage? What's the frequency? I would really like to do a hero dose first. Opinions. Red, what are the numbers on our microdose? What's our usual thing that we're trying to weigh when we weigh that out for the dosage?
Yeah, I was calculating that question.
Is it 0.3?
So dosage, I believe that is going by Let's Be Buds. We're looking at I would go 0.07. 0.3 Skilbo is getting upwards into the well above microdose range.
Okay.
If you're talking about a microdose is going to be sub-perceptual and is going to be right at about your threshold, which is going to vary based on your weight. So these active ranges are active in the milligram to gram by pound or kilogram of body weight, kilogram of body weight. So it's roughly in the range of like 0.7, or I'm sorry, 0.07. I stated this wrong last time. 0.07 or 70 milligrams of a dried mushroom. That the amount of psilocybin in that is going to vary as well. So yeah, man, you could even if you had something that that is of known high potency, like a penis envy, you may even want to drop this minimum dose down to something like, and I say this minimum dose, like a starter dose. With science, you should always err on the side of caution. And in the case of microdosing or playing with, say, mental roulette or anything like that, it's kind of science. So
I hate to use like a number, but because I find that in talking to hundreds and hundreds of people through the years, I've seen people that have had truly for themselves psychedelic experiences at, less than 2 grams.
Sure.
But then if you talk to somebody else, then a lot of times that you'll get the information and people say, well, what's really a dose? So when you start trying to procure these things, a lot of times you'll buy them in eighths. It's so some people, depends on if it's just you or if it's another person, sometimes they'll split an eighth, sometimes they'll take a whole eighth. But that could be way too much for somebody, especially if you have zero experience with this at all.
Well, we're specifically talking microdose.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to split an eighth in this sense.
Oh God. No, think of how many dosage you can get out of that eighth that you spent, like less than $40 on.
Yeah.
So an eighth, a couple of weeks almost.
Oh, it's more than that.
Yeah, it's almost a month. If
it's like a month.
So, yeah.
Family Farm says a heroic dose is no less than 5 grams. So more than an eighth.
Whoa. See, that would be strain dependent, I would think, because a Fiji or a penis envy at 5 grams, that's gonna. Absolutely. I don't know. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, we should be speaking in terms of psilocin or psilocybin, and less on terms of weight of mushrooms. But since we don't,
there's no way for us to test that
availability
ourselves.
To testing, right. We have to make some assumptions. The idea is to just kind of titrate yourself to get around a 1/10 of a gram, because it's easy to gauge that way. 1/10 of a gram, 100 milligrams. It's easy to weigh out on a 10th scale. You hit the 0.1. If you hit up the point, the thing is, the differences in how it's going to make you feel between 10 and 50 milligrams. So think 0.1 to 0.15 could be very different. you're talking about a dose that could have your focus and attention to a dose that could be distracting and possibly disorienting. So the difference in these doses now, if you have experience with psilocybin, you might be able to conquer this and just continue your task with that slight disorientation or distraction. But if you don't, you could start running into those like mental difficulties, those challenging experiences given set and setting. If you get above that 200 milligram, that's a 0.2, 300 milligram, 0.3 on that scale, especially if it's a higher potent strain, you could actually consider that a double dose, like a 0.6, now you're in the half-gram range, which is starting to get into the psychedelic. You're going to start having perception differences. You're going to start in time, space, disorientation, all those things at the half-gram to that 1 gram level. And at those points, you are far beyond a microdose. So if we're talking microdose, I would go somewhere in the range, depending on potency, of about 50 milligrams upwards to about 150 to 200 milligrams. Once you have a tolerance, that 200 to 300 milligrams, that's a microdose. If you're somebody who's of a higher body weight, maybe somebody in like the 200 to 300 pound range, you might want to cater towards that 150 to 200 milligram range. You might want to get yourself up, but understand that you're going to go through a gram a little bit faster. You're going to go through an eighth a little bit faster.
Cheers, Spartan.
The point being, you don't have to feel this substance for it to work, for it to do its job. If your goal is maybe like feeling better, if your goal is a mood, you might want to up your dose a little bit for that serotonin. But if your goal is just acuity, getting sharp, tuning in, I would keep very low on that dosage, include some lion's mane, and just give it time. Continue your dosage daily. And after a couple of weeks, without you even knowing it, without you even feeling it, you'll feel sharper, you'll feel a little bit more acute, and you understand why these medicines are so beneficial to people.
I want to go back to the part where we talked about like all strains are not equal. I want people to really, really pay attention to that, because now that we're getting into a more legal area,
a lot more variety.
There's more variety, and I'll tell you, they're not all created equal. So if you have the option when you're getting your medicine or whatever, see what type it is, because
MSMV is becoming very popular by cultivators.
That is very true. Like I follow a lot of mycologists on Instagram, and it seems like the penis envy is like their main one that they like to put into their products and whatnot like that. So
I think it's because it's easy to cultivate. You know what I mean? And it's got its name quality, and it's pretty.
It's actually easy to contaminate, Skilbo. That one right there. There's other strains that are basically contaminant proof almost.
What would you say is a contaminant proof strain that you've had good luck with?
The Sumatran one,
okay.
And then Kathmandu that I just picked up is supposed to be super contaminant resistant and extremely aggressive colonizer. So I'm looking forward to working with that. Was it the other thing is they have these mycologists, the really advanced guys, are crossing these things and getting hybrids and whatnot. Because I just got this, I don't know yet, because I'm just now working with it. I got another Australian strain, and the person that made it or whatever is trying to say that it's stronger than penis envy. So just tread lightly out there.
How are those
wild.
How are those Wollongongs to cultivate?
Wollongongs are really easy. I'd say they're basically identical to doing Golden Teacher, which most people have done.
They grow Golden Teacher is one of the most, through the years, I think I've had more Golden Teachers than I've had any other one, man.
You can get some really big Wollongongs. Like if you let them go, like past the veil goes. Yeah, if you miss it, they'll go to the top of the tub.
And What's that?
You're on top chat.
I am in top chat. Oh,
thank you,
oh man, you're the master of live
calling
chat.
me out in front of everybody and everything. I couldn't even
push
hide
him
it.
right out there. Just go on,
because you would have never noticed.
I would have never noticed.
Until the very end.
You could have just, like give me a little. I'm just kidding. It doesn't matter. So I do want to point out that Robert, Mr. Greenfingers, brings up a good point about mixing chocolate with their mushrooms for more serotonin, and theobromine is considered a stimulant, so it may be a little bit more of a stimulating ride. High anxiety people, those of us that are looking to mood down, this could be a problem if overstimulation occurs. Understand that overstimulation might make you a little more sensitive. You may want to lower your dose and start slow, and this is what I'm talking about. Starting from the go slow and start off safe approach. For science, that's kind of the way that I go. Is start off slow, calculate your dosage, and then go from there. It's a lot easier than going high and having an oh fuck moment. You can start slow, especially if it's during the day or you have shit to do or something like that. You could really destroy your day very easily, not understanding your dose.
If you have shit to do and you're taking mushrooms, you're fucking up.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. Come on, man. You're already taking the wrong.
It depends on the dose.
It can be helpful.
It depends on the dose. I honestly say, I'd say there's lots of scenarios where mushrooms help. Microdosing cutting the grass, microdosing, shopping, similarly to cannabis. It helps. You give less of a shit about the asshole cutting you off or anything like that. Very similar to that kind of stuff.
Now we're driving around in a high dosage. God damn.
No, and that's what I mean.
Not
you really
recommended.
Okay, all right.
You want to understand your dose. You want to have already probably tried, and never
purple hippopotamus just cut me off
at all on any psychedelics at all ever. So,
dude, I'm saying all this as space is playing in the background of my headphones.
Not just chocolate, though. All kinds of food, sugar, name it. Caffeine. Caffeine is a big one. Those kind of things might cause it, more of an anxious reaction if it's going to be more stimulating. Think of, or if you take something to reduce your mood. Now, you could try something if you are having, like, say, a challenging trip. Valium has always been common as like a trip killer. And the natural way to find something that would be close to that would be valerian. Go lo and behold, Valium comes from valerian. So go for a good old valerian root. You could source yourself some valerian root, make yourself a tea or a brew. And when you are having a challenging experience, you can kind of kill it out real quick with a little bit of valerian.
That word sounds nerdy. I like that. Valerian steel. Giggity.
Hey, Robert Bendula. Cheers, Captain.
Okay, I saw, just a side note, something cannabis related. I saw something today, a gummy, that it's saying it's like a quantum energy, and it has THC extract plus sativa formulation plus caffeine.
It's like super energy drink.
Sativa formulation mean?
Maybe
that's a weird.
Maybe they're saying it has
terpenes.
It looks like it's
like similar to like cannabis PM.
It looked like a lemon at first, but
it's just weird. I never heard that.
They're marketing sativa, but they're using caffeine. The placebo is common, and commercial cannabis is strange because it's mostly used with distillate, and there's not a lot of real terpenes involved in a lot of edibles. So what they do to counteract the sativa indica, argument is to kind of just sometimes they'll use caffeine or melatonin, right? Melatonin. Actually, we could talk about melatonin being in the tryptamine family. Melatonin is actually in the tryptamine family, believe it or not. It gets you sleepy, doesn't it? It kind of changes your mood, doesn't it? Yeah. So it is actually, it's in the same family as LSD and psilocybin. And melatonin will actually give a false positive on an Eldritch test. So careful with that kind of stuff.
I just don't like sativa formulation. Like, are they?
Why are we disguising our words?
I think they're trying to say terpenes.
But they're not. But when they say terpenes, they have to say botanical terpenes.
It's marketing confusion.
It could be they're just in there doing basically mixology, kind of like how for Girly he'll make he'll mix some stuff together and that'll make a flavor. So they're probably just mixing a bunch of different distillates. This should be high in the sativa end.
Yeah. I just don't.
And that's what they're saying.
They're just trying to.
They're marketing
mess
the
with
sativa.
the consumer.
Saying it's a daytime. I'm guessing. Yeah, I don't like it either.
It's kind of BS.
But they say
really
plus caffeine. I haven't really seen that. Most companies won't say it.
Very few people are even growing a sativa. Like that's no one's doing 16 weeks in a commercial facility. You're growing hybrids.
No
Some 9-week shot or something.
There's no sativas. There's some close to maybe get there wannabe sativas ish, you know, like well, I shouldn't even say that because I don't want to say ish or wannabe to like something like Jack Herrera or something good because I have some of those on the shelf. You know what I mean?
That 10% is it's still plenty sativa effect. And 90-10 is still sativa. It feels sativa to me, but it just
I still wouldn't
shaves
know if it's
off
the
a
real
month.
deal, to be honest. If I were to see Durban or something come through, I'd probably question it until I actually hit it, you know.
I got Durban going right now, Red.
Sweet.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So there was a pack of seeds that I got from Spartan. I think probably back when I first met him. I don't know, Spartan would probably remember better.
The little pill bag ones with our names on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's where headlights came from.
It said it's from the 1990s from his sister. I hit him up. He said, yeah, pop them. So I mean, I got 7 Durban poisons going in there. So we'll see what happens.
Are these seeds from the 90s?
That's what they were labeled. They're in there. They're not above the soil yet. So we'll see if they pop.
Okay.
Come on.
But I gave them the tradition, you know, stuck them in my mouth for a minute and then stuck them in the soil.
Put in your soil. That's where you need the crystals for that. I don't even use crystals in my soil, but you might need them for that.
Yeah, I don't have any crystals.
Earth energy. 30-year seeds, man.
All that
Cheers,
energy
Jack.
and like just a little seed. It's so cool.
Smoking some GMO.
I always like to consider seeds, and it is very amazing, guys.
He didn't know I was home.
You snuck in on it.
I probably should give those guys a little bit of a boost for how old they are. Like give them like an aloe topping or something like that. Get some salicylic acid in there.
Yes.
Potential energy, man.
Was it gibberellic acid? Is that what it is?
Dude. Let me get this is
trying to remember.
This is potential energy right here, dude. This is citrique from the garden. There's like 6 or 7 seeds here. There might be a male. The citrique was pollinated, of course, by a neighbor's pollen. It's somewhere in the air. But there's like 6 or 7 seeds right here. You know what the potential energy out of this is?
Yeah.
How many pounds of cannabis can be created?
It just takes one
fiber,
just
flower, pollen.
Oh yeah, Spartan, you got first dibs on clones. If I get any males, I'm uprooting it and bringing it to you, dude.
Yeah, he's got that coming. Shit, put that back to the bliss bug.
So we have a Durban something, don't we?
Yeah, we have a Durban Margie. And Margie's
an exotic genetics.
It's a Canorado.
Canorado.
I'd have to look at what the Margie is. I'm sure somebody in chat knows the Margie line off the top of their head, right? If not, I could probably look it up.
I can do it.
Becca's going to look up what the Margie line is from Canorado, but that's a Durban. And I also have a GMO one, which is called, I think, Kitchen Sink or something like that. Part of their Margie line. You're going to hear some dog noises here for a second.
I'm not sure if
Becca was home.
No, I'm confusing it with Tina.
Tina, that is exotic.
Tina is an exotic genetics.
Tina's exotic, and they did some cup winning, man. Even though I understand that they might be known for maybe some perms or something like that.
Tina was, yeah.
But you know, the Paradise Circus, the Tina, the Cream and Tina, they all won cannabis cups here in Michigan, and I ended up grabbing a pack of just about each of those, and I think I got 2 of the Cream and Tinas. To make sure I wanted to get something available to another grower, of course.
You know, one thing, that dude always takes time to talk to you. You know what I mean? If you're there to buy seeds from him and shit.
Yeah, I understand that, man. I actually never got a chance to meet Mike or buy seeds from him personally, directly. My homie has.
I've talked to him like 2 or 3 times. I've seen him.
Mike actually just told him randomly, you know, just my homie, about where he got what the strawberry is in his strawberries and cream, and lo and behold, it's mimosa. You know, I thought that was
really
pretty
I didn't know that
information. Yeah, strawberry on that one.
This says Margie is sour dub crossed with chem.
Sour dub and chem. Oh, so that does sound pretty good. So we got sour dub and chem. I think I've seen Tropic Oni work with sour dub as well. Who does sour dub? That's a different one. That's got to be like sour diesel. Maybe it's a back cross sour diesel.
Cream and Tina. Spartan.
I don't know. I'm really ignorant on the strain, but I'm interested because I see you guys lighting up talking about it.
Yeah, it's cookies and cream and Tina.
It says crossing East Coast sour diesel and sour bubble.
Oh, dude, we definitely need to grow that then.
You like the East Coast sour.
That all
diesel,
sounds.
right?
That sounds like Bog. I think Bog Genetics did the sour bubble. And might even
super old school. Yeah.
Sour bubble Bog.
There it is. Yeah, Bog. Boom. Yeah, super
pure indica strain, 100%.
100%.
Bat cross 3 times.
Short lifespan on that one, I'm guessing.
Do you guys enjoy the bubblegum terps?
Yeah. I'm not.
I've tasted that.
I get it, like the whole Indiana fucking bubble and
just
shit,
such a throwback for me.
Yeah, it's a throwback, but it's nothing I get wild about. I got a buddy that's his whole thing, man. He just bought like 5 packs of different bubble seeds and trying to find something that's going to taste like that, Bazooka Joe.
I think Lucas is saying that it's Margie.
Margie.
That's what Blue Kiss was saying. She was not proven wrong, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking like margarita, frozen margarita.
That's probably what it is. I'm not sure. I have no idea how
it's okay.
Margie sounds better.
This isn't the late session. You will not be pleased for your grammar on this program.
Grape Gilly.
Love you, painted lady.
Gilly. Grape Gilly for 2 years? 2 years? How long have I been growing this fucking thing? 3 years?
I've been calling it the same thing. Yeah, Grape Glee. I still do.
Yeah, it's weird to say jelly.
It's gelée.
Yeah,
grape gelée.
I don't like it. It doesn't sound as good.
It is a grape
Glee is better.
I do too, man.
Because it's like Glee.
It's a
and
Glee.
it has THC.
Yeah,
Glee. Shit. Glee and a little bit of V. Get a vitamin D, C to B.
Kingfisher says that 15-year-old bean he's trying to pop that's 5 days from coming up in the soil was from a bud that tasted like bubblegum. Well, there you go.
So if you guys want bubblegum, it smells like bubblegum. This pheno I haven't got to actually smoke yet, but the one I just took down and another one I have in there of the monkey head smells like bubblegum. And I was kind of disappointed in that because I've had I think bubblegum OG or something like that. And I wasn't into that bubblegum terp. It reminded me of like going to the dentist and getting those damn tartar treatments as kids.
Tara gave Indiana bubblegum a thumbs down that they had at Freedom Green.
Okay, well, there you go.
Reminded
it's
me
even more
like
recent.
I always felt like it was artificial or something, like something they put in the bag or something. I don't know. I think it was like honestly, as old school as it was, it may even have been that era where they were putting essential oils in the bag. So I don't know. Very well could have just been that for the bubble gum I was getting. I didn't start getting Sensi, real good chronic hydro until 2010, 2000, somewhere between 2008 2010. It started up really legal in 2008. I was still on a regs kick. I was brokering regular cannabis, brickweed,
not
brown,
top shelf, not the droves, the downtown Julie Brown.
Shout out to Mama Abolish. I never had to smoke that.
Kept her straight, right? Oh, dude, the size of the fucking sticks and stems and fucking seeds back in 1987 was no motherfucking joke when you're a kid.
I like it. This is
that bag Red was holding up. I would have felt like I was fucking God if I would have had that at that
age. That's what half the bags I used to get came looking like. That was a pound. That was what a pound would look like, dude. That was a fucking pound. Believe that one sitting in a bag like that. Yep. You get about close to and more like 15.7 fuckers. And then there half of them would be stems in there this long, just branches of bud.
Dude, I was getting branches at points, and I'm like, now I know this ain't right. But when you're that young, what are you gonna say? Like, hey man, okay, well then don't fucking buy it then. Find it somewhere else.
It was
kid.
green, dude. It was green. I was like, this is great. It had to have been a local farmer.
The first time I seen green, I was like,
within the
is this shit dry or not? Because, you know, I'm used to it like turning it into dust and you roll the bag up.
Oh, yeah.
I still give those big old donkey dicks to my patients. They enjoy it. And I just put a little bit extra in there for them, you know? It looks really cool in the jar seeing those massive buds.
Dude, I used to pay. I used to get half ounces of AK-47 around 2012, something like that. That was when shit was really, really good.
Kingfisher.
I was paying, I think 220 for a half ounce. Oh yeah. And I was making money off of that. I was middlemaning that and actually able to
for half though, man. Fuck.
I was actually able to lessen my cost. I had never made money. I always lessen my own cost. There's never any money being made. It was always just being able to, you know, cheapen my supply, be able to afford things like baggies and shit like that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Fall in love with the snack bag size. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good old 0.7s back in the day. And for harm reduction's sake, dude, it's so much better today. You know, having this way of like legal access to cannabis. Imagine when it's
all coming from across the border and it's getting sprayed with whatever.
Within 10 years. Right. Yeah. And I was going to, in my age group, man, 17, 19, 20, 22, you know, I was driving down to areas of like downtown Detroit way before it was being brought back to life the way that it is today. And even still, the same areas they're probably the same today as they were 20 years ago. And like it wasn't downtown Detroit at all. It was like West Side Detroit, Livernois, and you go. I'm not even gonna start talking about those neighborhoods because they're quiet. I'm gonna keep them quiet. So I don't even want to talk about it. So anyways, but that's, if you know, you know. I was down in those neighborhoods. And, dude, and you know, you'd be parked in front of a house and there'd be people going in and out of those houses. I'd be sitting there waiting for my dude to go in and get me an ounce, and I'd be waiting for 20 minutes and there would be 40 people going in and out of this house, dude. I was holy fuck. It was wild, man. I was a teenager, late teenager. I mean, I'm not talking like I was a 13-year-old kid, but I was a late teenager. I was, you know what I mean, of the age to like fight for my country and do all of that shit, right? I had buddies that were overseas fighting in Iraq. You know, the whole 9/11 shit had already happened. You know,
Afghanistan.
Yeah, this is like 2004, 2006. You know, shit like that. And,
I was like my 20s.
You're giving him attention.
But I was only
getting 2008 came around, man. And we started being able to like feel comfortable about growing it in our basements and getting tents. And oh wow, that sounded like a feedback.
Sound like from feedback on the mic. Yeah.
Holy cow. High pitch. He just wants attention now. He's already had dinner.
Becca, you will pet him.
Imagine where we'll be in 10 years with the psilocybin. You know, imagine with where you know, if we can have adequate testing.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And when you're talking about crossing and everything else and the variety that we're bound to find, and then just like I was saying in the beginning, varieties
are more potent.
Well, and I was trying to say, when I started into medical cannabis, I wanted to find strains that were going to do things that I needed it to do, like kind of like the Huey Lewis, you know, I want a new drug kind of thing. I needed something for back pain. I needed something for long-term depression. My PTSD is really under control these days, so I don't know whether it's just the titration of cannabis that's helping or not, but I really don't deal with that like I used to pre-med card. You know, so it
last like 7 years have been packed full of the word terpene also.
Yeah.
You know, think about once they really discovered the content of terpenes in cannabis and excuse me, and how much greater it really is in cannabis than in other plants. I mean, it's phenomenal, and it contains terpenes that are found. It's divine, man. It's really weird. Like we haven't done it too much, and I really, because psychedelics are this one, like not too many things really connect you to God, right? Psychedelics tends to be one of those things. It tends to bring some people to a form of at least questioning whether or not they're alone in this universe, right?
Ooh, we're gonna go late sesh with this.
Yeah, a little bit,
okay.
man, a little bit, because
mathematically,
I
it stands
think
to reason that we're not alone.
I think that cannabis is one of those divine healing plants, and I've talked about maybe the science behind how cannabis has all these terpenes, and because it's been cultivated all over the world, unlike most things that we farm today have been, it's very recent that they kind of we farm them, it's things like that. But cannabis has been one of those crops that's just been used all over the world. We've traded other things. They've still been grown in these other areas, but cannabis has just been grown everywhere. So my theory is that in these other areas, they've gotten all these terpenes, and terpenes were a little bit more isolated. But nonetheless, regardless, on the divine side of this whole thing is how cannabis holds all these fucking terpenes, man. Think about that. In nature. I mean, you look at the list. I get it. There's 20,000, maybe more. Maybe there's 50,000 terpenes in nature, and we're studying, a good solid 2-3 dozen, maybe 4 dozen, maybe 50 terpenes in the cannabis plant when we run a lab analysis. But imagine if we came across 100, 300, 500 different terpenes, alcohols, esters that made up the aromas and flavonoids within the cannabis. It's very cool how, and I understand that there are other plants that contain cannabinoids, and other plants that also, will contain like linalool, and but it's just very interesting how many of the plant kingdom that cannabis does contain. It's very cool, and how we can just really
temple balls, man. What about the temple balls, man? Like, there's a terpene or a cannabinoid in there that can only be produced inside the temple ball.
Yeah.
Like, that's almost like a spiritual, like, that's a beautiful thing. Like, I think very that's really cool, man.
Well, I wanted to go into this on the Bro Show Live tonight, but I don't like to try to take the microphone too long on that.
It needs the touch of man.
Think about this when we were talking about plants. Name another plant that you can think of that if you cultivate different varieties of it, you'll end up with 500 different flavors. Can you name a plant like that?
Yeah, there's not a lot.
You can't. And the thing is, there's new flavors all the time because there's new combinations that are coming out all the time because of the constant manipulation of the genetics.
Maybe other plants do it in terms of like,
I can't think of one that does it to this degree, though, brother.
Apples, maybe.
Yeah, like,
but they all taste like a fucking apple, though.
Yeah, like
I guess people that don't smoke say it all tastes like weed
sweet
too,
to bitter. Maybe sweet to bitter might be difference in variations. But no, dude, yeah, the phenotypical variations in cannabis is amazing. And then when you break out, let's talk about phenotype, and then you get into like the difference in like different. I think it's chemotypes.
Oh, the song of his people.
Maybe DOG's.
Cheers, DOG.
Question my knowledge of that one. Maybe no. He's wrong. It's
backing you up, bro.
It's genotype. No, that's what he was fucking correcting me as always. The genotypes between the different species of even like cannabis, right? Am I right about that? And then I think the chemotype is like cannabis and hops, right? It's like, or a chemotype is cannabis. Cannabaceae.
Can we get some love for DOG in the chat?
I don't know.
I love his fucking.
I gave him so much love, and then he was like, "Okay."
It's just his personality, man. He's one of those guys that he's got a gruff exterior, but around his people, he's just a big old wook.
Let's just get him a microphone. I think that's what it is.
Put him on cam. Fuck it. Get him up here. He's got some points to add to this.
He needs pettiness.
Ooh, Red, that concert's still playing in my ears, man. We're on Standing on the Moon now. Anybody that doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about, when we started the pre-show, I came into it and I was like, Red, let me share the audio. So I brought up this Dead and Company concert
up too.
From January the 20th of 2019. If you can find it, dude, I'm telling you, you got to check it out. So I was playing it for both Abolished and Red before we were going on live.
And what he's talking about is actually the show from Playing in the Sand.
Playing in the Sands.
They're having
today,
this coming weekend. And yes, man. Just today, John's
fucking, man.
Positive
dude, his guitar, I get it. Like, I'm not trying to turn this into a dead conversation.
I will give the new band a shout out though, because it is a Bobby thing, and it sounds pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. I would be honored to still be in the presence of this band.
Absolutely.
So go ahead, Skilbo, say what you're gonna say.
But when we went to our concert, because it was really, really cool. I got to hang out with you and Becca, man. That was like that's one of the
so fun.
That's the most fun I've ever had at a concert with, hanging out with Sequence and shit. It was just a great fucking time.
Sequence just comes walking up.
Definitely not missing the next one.
I love it because he and I have so many long-standing jokes together. Spartan is
never mind. It's completely canceled as of
they did cancel the whole.
Yeah, they canceled the whole thing.
I didn't see that.
The band was going to be called Dos Hermanos con Amigos with Mickey Hart, Bob Weir, with Jeff Chimenti, Hotel Burbridge, joined by Lover's Lane, Tom Hamilton. I don't know who True Jr. is because these are Instagram tags. And special guests. That's our torch when we get it fired up.
Jesus Christ.
So that's
a fuego
hazard, of course.
Man.
Bobby says that we came down here to have fun. Unfortunately, some of our brothers cannot make it. And it sounds like because of the events and probably wanting to keep everyone safe as of all the stuff that is currently going on. We just went through it here at the house. We have lots of family here in chat going through it as well. Yeah. Sick, quarantine. Everybody stay safe out there. It is going around. Go out, go in public, keep yourself safe. Try to maybe minimize public affairs, if not for the next, couple of weeks. Let's get through the next. But for what I look at it as, I actually looked at the weather, man. It's gonna be, at least here in the north, a fairly mild, like deep winter. And the time that it should normally be sub-freezing, it's gonna be like 30. It's gonna be almost 40 next week. So we're going to be climbing out of this winter hole here very soon. The sun's going to be shining. And for that, I think that's like already time to start anew. It's time to start figuring out what kind of seeds you want to pop for outdoor. For us, it's vegetables, herbs, medicinals, and all kinds of stuff. If you're going to be doing an outdoor mycelium mushroom cultivation, I think that's something to possibly consider. DOG agrees.
The pumpkins, if you're doing that.
We could definitely hope.
Sorry, I was trying to mute DOG. I didn't mean to mute you.
You can't mute DOG. He refuses to be muted.
He get her own microphone. But I guess that wouldn't help DOG either. Go ahead.
He's gonna sing.
I was just gonna say that next summer, hopefully, things are a little bit better and can have a little bit
bigger all hang out, man.
Gathering. Yeah. More people can come.
Have a gathering.
I think
we have to have a lot of events. Like that's crucial to the summertime. Like we had that one year where it kind of really slowed down because of this, and I'd hate to see that happen again.
No, I can remember going over to your house, Abolished, when we filmed those fucking was that Streamlabs when we were using that for the merch, and that was like right at the very beginning. And I remember they're sitting there and like, you're rolling your joint, I'm rolling my joint. It was like, man. I don't know if you've seen it in chat or not, but Daddy Red says that the reason that DOG is singing his songs is because he misses his grandpa.
I think so too. As soon as we said hi to Daddy Red in chat,
it was a rap, right?
Yep. No, he heard it.
I don't know. Remember that is kind of weird. Just that flipping, like the way you approach society. Like I always we always smoke together
and shit, dude. Yeah.
But having a pre-roll ready for when you have your company come over, like that's a nice thing to do. But like it was like you had to do it. That's kind of weird.
Yeah. As I would roll, and it depends on who's around. It's like okay, here. To bring this back around. I see we have more people in the chat than we have had for any previous Behind the Veil Red.
See that too,
I think it's fucking rad, man.
I do too. I'm seeing over 52 concurrent viewers. I've seen
55. We were pulling a full Sammy Hagar
as well. So I really appreciate that, everybody. That's actually fantastic. If you are enjoying the show, please feel free to like, subscribe,
ask questions. Whatever, man. We're just hanging out.
Bell, so if we go live. or drop any kind of videos or anything like that, which you might end up seeing in the future. Because we do talk about just kind of the polarities of mental health. Oh man, physical health has got to be included in that, right? Gut health and things like that. I do want to
all one thing,
I want to
man.
include our natural farming in some sort of a way. So you're probably going to see some stuff go down on maybe oil, maybe like beneficial or what would be aromatic oil extractions, stuff like that. You know, we grow rosemary and lavender, and there's pine and all kinds of stuff around here. And we're going to start doing some extractions for some home remedies. We're going to start hopefully being able to make some of these home remedies available for others.
Yeah, man.
And kind of start a little herbal apothecary, so to speak.
I'm interested in the mushroom
totally
tinctures,
falls
man.
in line with this. Mushroom
I'm really,
tinctures are
I'm really interested in those. Yeah.
We want to have that available. I totally have, you know, I'm going to shout out the great mushroom source would be Myriad Mycology. I haven't been on the site in a little while. I hope that they are still up and running and they haven't been had any issues since the pandemic, but it was mid-pandemic when I did source from them. So I would hope that it would only kind of help their business, people wanting to stay a little bit more on the defense, you know, rather than, you know, being on the offense, you know, stay on the defense, get those immunities up. You know, I always talk about
Uncle Rick is trying to trigger you.
Drinking some tea. What's Uncle Rick saying?
He wants to say, share a little gut health with us. You know, you get on this ticket, man, and we could ride the rest of the show out on this.
I can keep it simple, I think, and just talk about.
Okay.
You know, I ate a handful of sugar worms last night.
The fuck is a sugar worm?
It's those little fucking
Gummy
worms, little gummy
worms.
All
right. I thought he was out digging in the garden or something, and like there's some January things out there.
They gave me a headache mid today, you know. I'm not gonna sit here and preach like I, you know, have the healthiest diet. Okay, so
no, but you're mindful of it. Going back to that word,
right?
You know what I mean?
So I just want to begin with that bit of information, you know, and I'll be honest about that. So the in doing so, what I'm doing when I'm eating those sugar gummies is I'm feeding microbes in my gut that would otherwise survive on sugar. They in turn, believe it or not, are going to kind of convince me, you know, they're going to do my thinking for me and make me kind of desire some more sweets and sugars because that's what they feed on. And they do my thinking for me. So in another respect, if you were to say really dig on vegetables, you're going to increase the type of gut biology that really enjoys and survives on that type of food. Maybe similar microbes, but they may be completely different microbes altogether. And you may start farming those inside your gut, and they're going to do their thinking for you. And then you're going to start thinking, oh shit, man, I don't want to eat that cake. I want to eat a carrot, you know, for whatever reason, you know, and a lot of it's mineral supplementation. You know, if you're eating,
dude, everything we eat is so fucking depleted of minerals and shit, man. Yeah.
And that's a huge thing too, Skilbo. We really can be eating grocery store fruits and vegetables and increasing our mineral content in theory. Unfortunately, we really don't because of our farming practices at scale. Large scale commercial farms, you know, even using I'm a hydroponic farmer, and I'll admit to that, you know, and I will also admit that hydroponic farming, you know, is just not giving the same type of mineral quality content to our food and medicines as what you can just get in the ground in good old fashioned natural farming or by using natural products that
the
contain
soil itself is fucking
minerals
depleted
of the ground, right? Even heavy metals, man. Even, you know, what would be known as some heavy metals. Once they
not the movie either, not the cool movies.
Yeah, we're not talking about smoking or anything like that, but we might be talking about extracting and eating and ingesting. So I'm not talking about, you know, crazy amounts of them, but I'm talking about just what's natural in the earth, what's in sand, what's in silt clay, things like that. So Deals may or may not agree.
So he's kind of adamant about his point, whatever it may be.
Yeah, but the mineral content is going to be a lot higher. The bricks content will then be a lot higher. You're in natural systems. You're going to have plant defenses that will.
Let's do a little
increase
incidental
a lot of these things. Hashtag.
A little bit of this for
You
girlies.
really want to train. You really want to
doesn't
train
work.
your microbes to want that kind of food, right? Because like I've
Love this
noticed
shit,
in myself, and what really scares the shit out of me is there's certain things like not just sugary food, but fast food seems like it actually programs your microbes and make you to where you want to crave it. Because I've quit that a few times over the years, and even just recently, like I haven't had it in a while. And your body, you almost develop a headache for craving that type of food, and it takes it once it's away, you don't really want it anymore, and it's kind of it's kind of weird.
Yeah. God damn, this is good.
Like, what the hell are they putting in that depleted food that makes you want to crave it like that?
So I got a thing. I read this the other day.
Everywhere you look to, everywhere is a trigger to eat more and more sugar.
When you go to the grocery store, this is a cool thing I was reading today. It says if you just walk around the outside of the whole place, if you're inside the store, the aisles on the outside are good for you, and all the bullshit aisles in between are not good for you.
Yep, no doubt.
Try to make sure that the majority of your cart comes from the outside aisles.
Oreos, potato chips, cookies,
man.
Oreos.
At the checkout, like I have a
you have to put blinders on.
Addiction to Reese's peanut butter cups, and it's I'm not even joking.
The straight OG.
The shapes.
She likes the seasonal shapes, man.
But
Reese's got it. They got it every season.
And
every
season. The shapes.
There was just a Christmas one.
Sometimes it's a bat.
There's a No. It's Valentine's Day.
And then it'll
the
be
shapes are the only one that have
the eggs. Yeah.
A little egg. Yeah.
It's so.
What do they do?
So much more peanut butter.
Summertime, they probably do a little firework display.
No, it's just they release early Halloween ones just to mess with people.
Halloween's
and get people into it.
We got to be honest too. Those shaped ones are the only ones that have the chocolate to peanut butter ratio. Correct?
I know they're the only ones. The other ones you have to
good candy,
eat
man.
So many.
Yeah, dude. Fucking A. It's good. It's good candy.
They make me so sick.
They do.
They make you sick
so much, like because my blood sugar skyrockets from them.
So on top of I'm not sure if that was discussed in the introduction episode with Becca, but go ahead, Becca, you can discuss it if you want.
I for sure did that. I have type 1 diabetes, so my blood sugar just goes up and down really fast. I have to take insulin.
That sucks. Do you have like a candy in your purse or something that you use?
I usually always have an apple juice or an applesauce or a fruit snack or a bar. I always have something.
Someone's got.
You have to, man.
Because when I don't, that's when I need something, and then
that's when you're gonna crash out and be fucked.
I'm driving and I have to go to a drive-through, but
now you got to eat more shit, right? Yeah.
And then my blood sugar goes the opposite way, so it's just up and down all day, and I feel it really intensely, especially if it goes up high really fast. And so that happens with Reese's peanut butter cups because you can't eat one of them.
You need the smaller ones.
Yeah, man.
You can't eat one.
They're good.
That's not. There's not owned by Frito-Lay. That tagline doesn't work here.
It's a minimum of 2. Like
Wait a minute. The bat comes as one. There's not 2 bats to a package. It's 1 bat per package.
She means 2 bags.
She means 2 bats.
So no. How do you eat your Reese's, Becca? You have a technique, or do you just savagely just
snap
tear it up?
Off, man. Just go for it.
I actually have a technique when I eat cups specifically.
Well, cups are different, but the shapes, like usually I'll eat the whole thing in one bite.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you just like, I just like close my mouth. I don't like
let them
chew
feel
it.
Any pain.
I like want it all to melt and to get the satisfaction of the. Wow, it sounds like drugs.
Right? It is. It really
100% drugs.
If you think about, if you define a drug as something that is introduced from outside the body that has an effect inside the body, then it becomes quite the wide net.
And in fact, it's actually addictive drugs.
I've had the thought, oh, you know, it would make me feel better right now.
A big Reese's bat.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I do.
Or it's hard because it's the season.
But then I'll eat a whole bag. And then I'm also, I smoke cannabis, and so that just gives me the munchies bad, man, sometimes.
So what do you use as a healthy snack?
A healthy snack? Oh.
Come on, you guys were the ones that brought fucking watermelon to a fucking Dead and Company concert. Now
I eat a lot of things,
mind you, I had to cut it, you know.
The snacks that I eat, I prefer that they not have any carbohydrates. So I really like cheese sticks. That's something I eat a lot, but then it's like I don't want all the dairy. So it's like finding that balance, not eating 20 million of them a day, because those things are addictive too. They're so tasty.
I try to rotate fruit products. Some days
with vegetable.
Well, yeah, some like I'll try to do like a pineapple, like a week, right?
Tear your fucking mouth up for a week.
Yeah, well, because of the acidity,
times, though,
right? I don't just eat the whole pineapple. Yeah. Well, it's actually no, it was really good. It was super sweet. I still ate the whole pineapple, even though part of it got a little mushy. I still like that.
You were saying that it was starting to.
Oh, there was definitely alcohol on the outside of it.
Oh, it's fermenting.
I got a little drunk. Oh yeah, it was really good. It was super good.
Tipsy off your pineapple over there.
Pineapples are great.
Oh, yeah. SpongeBob.
It was fermenting for a day or something.
Yeah, it was a good few days fermenting.
So what I'm hearing is you were making hooch, and you can get a little carried away, a little overzealous.
I'd say out of anything that's gonna that you're gonna eat fermented, I'd go with pineapple because it's got the acidity to really kind of cut the alcohol. It's not soggy and mushy. It just tastes like bacteria or anything like that. It doesn't look like there's any bacteria. It's still got a good color to it. But yeah, man, I'd say that if anything's going to start creating alcohol in it, and maybe any kind of citrus, I'm sure that's why grapefruit's used often. But it was good, man. Berries. What else do you like to eat? Anything else?
Like popcorn.
Oh yeah, we eat popcorn. Yeah, that's a snack, you know. And it's good if you throw some actual good salt on there, whatever kind. I'm not gonna totally suggest or only suggest like pink salt or anything like that, but something that's just got
pink salt's hard to use on
good mineral content.
So those are snacks, that don't have carbohydrates. But what I really like to snack on is like cereal and quesadilla, like same thing that everybody.
A cheese stick quesadilla?
No.
Becky, you know what I used to make as like stoner food at the pub I used to work at? I used to call it an Italian grilled cheese. So I'd start off with 2 pieces of garlic toast and throw them on the grill. And then when they're done on one side, I would flip them over and I would put real Swiss cheese on them and Asiago and mozzarella. And then I would drop 4 cheese sticks in the deep fryer. So on the other piece, I would copy that same cheese again and then put just a little shot of like marinara sauce on there. So when the cheese sticks come up, you plop those on and you put it together and you have yourself an Italian grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Fucking slapping.
Sounds good.
We got the munchies along with 80% of the chat.
See, the kitchen that I worked at for years was at a summer camp, and we didn't have that many options. And so our snacks, I worked in the kitchen there. And so I got to always, pick.
If it was there to be had, you had it.
But they were things, not quite as fancy.
Tantalizing.
Cookie dough. That's a good one. I used to have to buy an extra box of cookie dough for the counselors because their high asses every night would come into the walk-in freezer.
Just raid that shit, man. Yeah.
I would have to lock that shit sometimes. It'd get so bad.
The little kids got to lock.
I'd understand. It'd be like, I get it. I get the munchies too.
You got to have some fucking restraint, man.
Yeah.
That is one of the ups and downs about cannabis, and at least some strains, right? You get the munchies.
So you guys got to make at some point. You got to make that fucking Skilbo Italian grilled cheese, man.
We definitely
gotta make it after the
healthier snacks.
They
are easy.
She just admitted to being a cook for mass gatherings.
Right, she knows what she's doing. Turn her loose.
She just signed up. Terry, you got to help her.
3 meals a day for. It would be
the whole
summer. It'd be 12 weeks for 300 people, 3 times a day.
Yeah, man, that's a considerable clip right there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It made me stop cooking for a long time.
You know what? People don't get that haven't worked in the industry. Dude, if we work in the industry, there's only a couple kinds of people. There's people that are like, and I'm just going to call them out. Fuck you and I watched a couple of videos, so now I'm a fucking chef, or I watched a couple of TV shows, and let me talk about this and that and the other thing. Listen, can you get the plates out in time?
Right.
Yeah.
Can you be consistent? Does your shit look nice? Is it to temp? We can worry about all that other shit at some other point. But right now, we're going to get through this lunch rush.
I mean,
yeah,
quality
man.
food.
And the other group of people that work there are people that are just like, hey, man,
not gonna get you
for whatever reason, either smoke pot or I'm an ex-con or I fucking don't get along well with others and I'm kind of a transient person, or this is the only gig I've ever had, people.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a
kitchen for a long time, man.
It's interesting.
Oh man,
I loved it. I was just
takes
good
a tribe
at it.
to
I'm good at like knowing the order of how to do things and being
that's
able to
fucking mandatory. Yeah,
those order, like that's just what I can be really good at.
Assembly line, streamline.
Yeah. Like there's
well, it's all about, listen, I worked for people that were like really big assholes, like in the breakfast cook world. It's all about how fast can you do it and how well and how consistent. So I'm telling you, usually if you work for a place like that, they're assholes to you.
Assholes.
And so
fast paced, dude. So stressful.
It's what it is. So you better not. Couple of things. Don't break the eggs when you flip them. That's the first thing. The second thing is,
can you crack them with two hands?
I don't care if you use one hand or two. I better not see a single shell. There better not be a single piece of grit in that egg, or it's your ass.
So I would do like a serious amount of eggs every morning, and you'd have.
Are you doing like flip eggs? Or are you doing like scrambled?
Scrambled.
So the way to do scrambled,
I would do both. But
so did you make egg wash yourself, so that you just took like, a whole case of eggs and cracked them, threw them in the mixer for a minute, mixed it all up, and then you could just ladle out for your shit? Or were you like cracking, put them in the bowl, hit them with a spatula, and then pour them in?
We cooked them all. So I would have like a
tilt skillet,
a big like plastic tub, those plastic tubs that you put all the stuff in, and I would just crack a whole thing, crack like stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of eggs. And then I'd just get one of those big ass whisks and just whisk it up a little bit and then cook it in a couple goes.
Yeah. But it makes you hate food. Oh, like I never wanted to eat. I
lived with my mom after that, and she's like, "Why don't you ever cook for me? You're a cook. Why don't you ever cook for me?"
I cook for other people that I won't eat. I'm just like, I'm good.
I'll cook for myself. No. Honestly, cooking for
it must be way worse than the pizza place, because even after I quit that after a few years, I still want a pizza.
Well, that's because you're a Ninja Turtle.
True that. Yes. Cowabunga.
Let's see. My favorite Ninja Turtle was mostly Michelangelo with the cowabunga, and Raphael because he was red.
Yeah, Raphael
said
I had a favorite color of red when I was a little kid. It was purple when I was in my mid to late 20s.
Oh, is that why there's things that are purple?
So everything's painted purple everywhere. There's purple shit everywhere.
Row rooms have so much purple.
I was muting.
He's a master of anthocyanins.
Yeah, that's
a lot of that.
I was growing purple peppers. I'm still
purple
into
walls, man.
Granddaddy purple. I'm still into fucking
Girls Gone Wild.
Tara,
I have, dude.
You could cook for me anytime.
Outdoor
Tara's a beast.
Outdoor has been so delicious. I should be smoking it right now. We smoked some cake and punch, but I haven't even touched the 2 plants of Girls Gone Wild yet. Still plenty of that.
Yeah.
What?
Haven't even touched them.
Oh shit.
We're getting ready to get into them because I got about 3 weeks until indoor finally comes back down. 3 to 4 weeks, somewhere in that time frame, and then we just put some stuff out there in late veg, so that'll get started flowering in a couple weeks. So I got a couple months. I got to try to stretch my crop out as much as I can, but otherwise I got to get through this outdoor.
Ugh.
Get it done so I can start the processing,
power
all
through,
the trim
man.
work and everything.
Get started.
Get done with this outdoor and get on it next year. We're officially in this year's outdoor. Yeah, man.
That's all life is to you, isn't it, Becca?
No.
No.
Well, we're gonna start doing some trimming. The house,
that's
the
not
house
how you
is.
spell my name.
Got him.
I just say it.
The house is finally almost to a point where we have a spot to like be able to have, dude. For those that don't know, man, my house has been a maze of just stacked shit everywhere for like a decade. And
it's not that bad. Don't let them fucking. It's not that bad.
It's really
Becca
not.
moved in
It's
there
been
and just
bad.
fucking straightened that shit up.
Slowly.
Paintbrushes came out.
My basement,
man.
No doubt. All this
Skilbo
gray
knows.
behind me is because of her, dude. Absolutely.
I painted these walls like the second month, maybe.
I think the name of the paint was like no, I was thinking Transcendence, but that's not what it was.
Brightened it all up, man.
Yeah.
I really like your house.
Very
anyway.
peaceful word, and it made it very peaceful.
Yeah.
We got a new bed, and it's so game changer.
First,
get some better sleep now.
For a decade. Yeah, dude.
Got a purple mattress.
I've had hand-me-down beds.
Oh, you like that thing?
It's so
hell yeah, man.
And cooling. Like I didn't get warm once in my sleep, and usually I'm like
a sweat hog.
Yeah, I'm so warm.
Pretty good,
I'm a warm sleeper. He's like bundled up, and
like
I'm like, no,
like a babushka.
Kind of like gel. It's kind of weird.
It's like gel foam.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, if you don't, it all starts with a good night's sleep. And I don't want to sound like a cheesy ass commercial, but if you're not getting a good night's sleep, whatever that is for you, some people, myself, I've received like 5.5 hours of sleep pretty much my whole life. But I know other people that need like over 8. Some people need 9 or 10. You know, you just have to be whatever it is. You need some rest, some downtime. Even if you can't sleep, you still need to like be able to turn your brain down.
It's not cheap, and it's difficult, you know, for most people to be able to afford, you know, something like that. But to be able to just try to get yourself like, you need to think of what types of things you're going to, you know, obviously you need a car. And when it's time to get furniture, you know, get yourself like a good bed that you can actually sleep on. Like I've done that thing where you sleep on the fucking floor, dude. And you're just like, I'm gonna fucking sleep on the floor for 6 years. Yeah, it's great. And you know, it works.
I'm gonna tell you, when I was 18, I had a box spring with a fucking piece of like 2-inch foam that was across the thing.
So sleep on yoga mats most of the time. You know what I mean? Like fuck it. And but you know what? Like when it really starts to like you come into like your body's health, like that's one of those things. It's
you need a safe space.
You can do that shit at 18. Don't do it at 48.
It was investing in something. Yeah, I invested in it.
Yeah.
I invest in my grow room all the time. You know, it was like, you know, I could buy a light, or I could buy some really fucking phenomenal sleep in something that's not an old hand-me-down, you know, from the last one. And
from the last one.
I guess I didn't mean it like that, but I guess that's kind of how it came out. But like from the last like hand-me-down, you know what I mean? Of the last hand-me-down, it's just been like hand-me-downs.
His ex's parents.
It was my ex's parents' bed. It was like a hand-me-down, old ass foam pad. Like just a foam pad, dude.
We cut that shit in half.
I cut it in half to fucking get it out of the house.
It was foam this thick.
Yeah, big piece of fucking foam.
At least you were smart enough to cut it in half instead of wrestle it.
You just radiate
dude.
it.
Think smarter, not harder, right? I mean, was it a little bit of work to cut it in half? Yeah. Did I use a fucking awesome knife Daddy Red gave me? Yeah. So it didn't make it.
What do you have? Some kind of scimitar or something to cut through something that thick?
No, it was a Browning,
World War II bayonet or some shit.
Browning fold out buck knife, dude. It's fucking phenomenal. It's got a breastbone blade and everything, dude. It's a real butcher knife. It'll fold up and you can put it in your pocket. Nice little. It'll fucking cut your hand off. So you gotta be careful with that fucker. Yeah. Say that abolished. What did you say?
No. That's not a knife.
There you go.
Knife. Yeah, dude.
The crocodile Dundee.
Oh, speaking of Australia, I guess they had a big problem with those. Fuck, dude. What is it?
Locusts?
Bufferin toads. Shit, where is it up here?
Buffalo?
Bufo toads. Yeah, something about there. Yeah, bufo toads. I think that they got.
Sounds made
I think they got brought over because of the
invasive.
Yeah, and they become very invasive. And I think they got brought over because of the psychoactive qualities of them.
Are you talking about the cicadas?
No, I'm talking about the bufo toad.
Oh, toad.
Buffon. God, dude, I'm not going to pronounce this correctly. I have it pulled out of fucking Wikipedia, so I can.
Then
try
you have to buffo responsibly.
Is that toad on Caraboofers?
Caraboofers.
Buffo responsibly.
That's the dab frog.
Bufotenine.
Bufotenin.
I think it's bufotenine. Unless the T's silent, but
unless the T is silent.
It's basically the alkaloid. It's the alkaloid in the venom of the bufo toad, or it has some other names. I think it was let's see here. Man, DOG is just on one tonight. I really apologize, everybody. Thank you very much for putting up with all of this noise. I'm trying to find
one more time. I'm gonna think you're trolling me.
I really tried to, guys. I'm trying to get you with as many bufos as I can with you. So it's a neurotransmitter alkaloid similar to it's tryptamine, similar to DMT. Well, it's 5-MeO DMT. It's actually 6 times stronger than DMT. When
don't boof that toad, then don't do that.
Please don't boof that toad.
Don't go full Richard Gere
not
with it,
butt
right?
chugging responsibly.
That's irresponsible.
The opposite.
Bufo toting.
Bufo.
Butt chugging bufo.
You guys are killing me with this. I mean,
you're the one that brought it up, bro. We're just riffing.
I suppose I don't know if anybody's tried the rectal administration of 5-MeO DMT, but man, that would be
maybe come back.
Yeah, maybe come back. Come on back down. So it's 5-6 times more potent than DMT, if you can imagine. I'm not sure what I think that they're administering it with the. I don't know if that's the stuff that they're shooting up their nose.
Oh my gosh, I have a dab. I never did.
I think that's the one that they wipe on the glass and let it dry up or whatever, and then it's scraped into like a powder.
I think somebody else has to administer it to you because you can't actually like snort it. Because like if you as soon as you start to snort,
have you seen the ones where they have the other guy?
Anything, but
no, the other guy blows it into your tooth.
Yeah, I think that it's required because you can't actually get the dose in you. Yeah, something like that. Like as soon as you start to snort, it's just not going to work.
Martin says, "Imagine a toad's life was bad enough. Why make it worse?"
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's like animal cruelty to its weirdest. Yeah. You know what I mean? It really is.
I'd probably go to jail for that.
One would hope so. Yeah.
Well, that's where like the synthesis of this comes into play, right? You know, we talk about
you do scraping and then boof that.
If you can just naturally synthesize
it, with a paper towel,
or be able to
buddy.
I always wondered what happened to the WB frog.
Michigan J Frog.
It's nothing to mess with, dude.
That's his name, Michigan J Frog.
Really have like fish outs. Fishing out is a term known to like nitrous parties and things like that, but basically it's almost like seizing. You know, it's not an actual like seizure. But
wait a minute, hold on, Rick. How the fuck can you still be in fucking Top Chat, brother? You were here the last time. We already
he trolls us. He does
and heckled you for doing.
He does this stuff last minute. I'm on to you, Uncle Rick. I'm on to you. You
slick to his trick,
or
like chaos.
Or he's just trying to get us to get one of these going. Let's get
easy greasy. You got a long way to slide.
We already.
You gotta grab.
I know you're awfully into the show there, Rick. You've been paying attention to me. I got called out by Becca just about a half hour ago for it. So, in case you missed that one, rewind and you can catch that funny one because she got me, Uncle Rick. I was about halfway through the show here, probably about on the hour.
I was actually
in live chat, so I was helping.
I was actually working on a little like switchboard, little CG thing with your live chat sign, Brad. That's going to be pretty funny to send over the sequence.
I have them over here. Yeah, you should. Those ones are for the bro show. We'll get a special one.
I drew those up. I thought color would be more fun.
Yeah, we'll get a special one for the show here.
Oh yeah, it'll look cool if I can get some different ones. I got two different. I think I got two different live chat signs.
What is the Top Chat? That's good. That's good. He's only in live chat.
This isn't my first chat.
This is the live chat, guys.
Skilbo, I like that you got like this dual background thing going on.
Like these, dude, I get really blown out in the morning and fucking create this shit on my phone. Like, okay,
yeah,
cool, I can make that.
on one side, the old late sesh moon on the other. Dig it.
Well, I made those polarity science ones too. When I say made, I mean stole somebody else's graphics and made those.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yes. Skilbo made some really cool
it's the flavor of it, man.
graphics for us.
You guys emailed that over to me too. I don't have the polarity science logo. You know how I like to make ads and whatnot.
Dude, Becca's fucking sweet. She just dropped some news on me. Stay tuned for this one.
I told him.
She told me about this
good
logo thing coming. So it sounds like we might have something cool coming from somebody that she's been following for a really, really long time, I think. What country?
Barcelona. Spain.
Barcelona, Spain. Artist in Barcelona. So world renowned.
Does like 60s and 70s
Pretty
illustration, logo work, design work, all that just cool stuff. I'm excited.
Like I'm gonna need a shirt.
That's what I was thinking to myself. I'm like, we could do some polarity science shirts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If there were polarity science shirts, I'm sure that there's more than one person in the chat that would strongly consider sporting one.
If you build it, they will come.
If you print it, philosophy, they will rock it.
I believe in the
laws of attraction. There is Abolish Mycology shirts. You can find the link on my Instagram.
Toss that out there. Nice Abolish. Link on Abolish Instagram. You can find Abolish Instagram at the information of this show. Where's it at? It's down at the bottom down here. You go down. Yeah, it's down at the bottom. We got all of our Instagrams on there. They should be on there at least. Yeah.
Nice work, Brad.
Yeah, see,
professional.
I went through, man. I went through on this nice little staycation that I had to take from getting sick here, and I went through, and it took me a couple hours, but I updated all the videos. I gave them a little title and made sure they were all edited for being over 18 years old. Most importantly. If you're listening to this channel, hopefully you are an adult. This is adult content only, and this is harm reduction. So we've been talking about some taboo stuff, and that's what we'd like to really get out there, man. It is officially 2022, and the walls of, what would you say, man? Like entheogenic plant prohibition.
They're fucking coming wide open, man.
They're just they're going down.
I'll dab to that.
The walls are coming down. Yeah, the dams are getting blown open. Doors are getting blown open. There's a lot more information. So we're trying to just kind of spread the topic, spread the word. I don't know, not really spread a word of anything, man. Just get the conversation going. Words of conversation.
Yeah, man.
Honestly, that's it. We hope that you guys are just starting the conversation. Some people your age, older than you, parents, if cannabis is a thing. I almost went in. Did I talk about? No, I didn't, man. I was talking about my township earlier, and I'm not sure what distracted me, but it was like,
that's when I got home.
Oh, you got home, maybe. The most important thing, and I'll get into it because I was going to talk about like medical cannabis specifically, and it just made me think of people actually under the age of 18, bringing up this age restriction. Medical cannabis consumers in fact are under the age of 18. One very famous one here in the state of Michigan is Josie. I apologize for not knowing her last name, but she's a prominent speaker here in Michigan. She was one of the youngest patients that we had. Yes, thank you, Abolish Josie Wales. She's always on Jazz Cabbage Cafe. You can pretty much find her on Jamie Lowell's show, Jazz Cabbage Cafe, on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. But she does a lot of stuff for she does a lot of stuff for access for children who need medical cannabis. Cannabis contains CB1 agonists, CB2 agonists, and those are very important for the homeostasis.
Lucas is calling you out.
On what?
Damn, I know. I see that. Fuck. I'm trying to give her a compliment. She's trying to just mow me down in the chat. Fuck.
Oh man.
So there are a lot
Eggs
of
don't encourage her.
There are a lot of children that use cannabis that are under 18, and
I mean,
they have medical conditions. They have medical cards.
Did you use cannabis before you were 18?
Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly, purportedly true. Abolished.
I would
You did
not
not
deny that. I did.
That's so weird coming from your background too, brother.
Like I would
Yeah,
not
Like
deny
so
that
fucking weird.
I was caught.
But,
Okay, let me
parents
ask you
and
this:
everything.
what's the youngest age you touched a plant?
It was
Purportedly, so it was early.
I seen him when I was a kid. I don't know if I actually physically ever touched him, but I seen like full on, like it looks like commercial setups now, like fucking 20 years ago. But yeah, I was very anti cannabis. Like I wasn't a rat or anything. Like I wasn't gonna turn in
What's
my
it gonna turn you in and
family or
narc you
anything.
out? It's called a narc.
Like
my friend.
I did
Narcs.
the dare classes and all that and resisted narking
Dude,
on my
if you
parents.
ask a cop if he's a cop, he has to say that he's a cop, man. Really, it's true.
Since the statute
That's totally
of
not fucking true.
limitations-
In case you don't catch the sarcasm in my tone.
So I
since
didn't
the-
touch it until my senior year, believe it or not.
I believe
That's not
statute of
too-
limitations
that's not
is
too bad.
long gone on this one. The planted my first seed.
The Bic?
1999.
Purple Vic. Damn, before the fucking changeover, when computers were still supposed to work.
1999.
Interesting.
Purple Bic. Or no, that wasn't the Purple Bic. 1999 was my first seed. It's like Daddy Red planted his first seed in 19. Well, no, I think.
What
I
year were you
think,
born? No, what year?
No, I think Dad, I think my grandma planted seed in 1947. Looks like Grandpa Red planted seed in 1947. Yeah, planted my first seed in 1999. Yeah, touched my first cannabis plant. That plant was sold. Tried. I didn't fall for this, of course. It was stolen. I had to go on vacation for a couple
plant.
weeks.
The
it was in
Rippers
woods.
came and got
I
it.
go back. Rippers got it naturally. It's just down the woods, guerrilla grow style. Young kid, young buck, man. Bummer they got it. It's like 14.
Dude.
Well, my classmate, the one dude that I took down there with me to fucking plant the fucking plant, or maybe I took him. I think I went down there by myself to plant it. And I probably
Broke
took
the
him
number
down there,
one
like,
security rule.
Took him down there with me one time, dude. One time I showed him that fucking plant. He shows me a little pill bottle of some fucking leaves and shit. You gonna buy some weed, dude? You buy some weed? No, get the fucking shit. This is a bunch of leaves, dude. What is that? Is that the fucking plant that's no longer sitting down there? I haven't talked to that dude since. Fuck that dude. Yeah, he lived down the street from me too. We hung out a few times. He was a fun buddy of mine. I've been crossed a couple times, and as soon as I get crossed, I'm like, fuck off.
Even is one thing in the cannabis scene that there's no call for, man. You do that, you're out.
Yeah, I learned very early on.
That's the whole thing, is
14.
you can get really, really well connected in cannabis, and you can meet a lot of cool people. And I'm talking about every one of you guys that I've met. Even if I haven't met you in like real life, but I've talked to you several times, man, I would love to be able to smoke a joint with you if you ever see us at an event. That's it, man. But you can really fuck yourself. You can come in and say, well, I'm going to hit this lick real quick, and I'm going to try to gaslight these people into thinking that I'm something that I'm not, and I'm going to masquerade as something. Well, dude, they'll find you out eventually, and they'll run you off,
But it's hard up for any of that
positive
stuff
vibes, man.
We're all
What
real
are we
super
talking about,
giving
man?
people,
Kids in cannabis,
Under
right?
18.
Yeah, we shouldn't really. That's not like a great topic, but it happens, right? I suppose that's a taboo topic, I suppose.
But it's the truth. So
it's the truth, man. Yeah. I mean, we were all of underage, and
yeah,
I guess I would never say that I was ever like become dependent on cannabis. I've realized
No.
that cannabis
I'm just
has
bummed when
always
I didn't
been
have any when I was
beneficial
a kid,
to me. I felt like it was like it always advanced my grades. I always was hyper focused. I've always been a little ADHD kid, man. You realize it when you're an adult, when you look back at your childhood and you're like, yeah, those were all signs of being ADHD. all of them. Even I was hyper focused. I would sit there and I would build Legos for hours. I would play video games for fucking 15 hours or something. Like, yeah, dude, that's hyper focus. ADHD is not only distraction. ADHD is also hyper focus. And there's two completely different sides to this story, and you really narrow that kind of stuff down. And there's like, I don't want to ever say that I had like any issues. I did great, but I did way better when I was using cannabis. Like when I was using cannabis, I was just more interested in shit. You know what I mean? It didn't matter what it was. If I had to do it, I was way more interested in it. It really helped me. I don't know.
Silicon Valley, man.
I was very introverted.
I think I would have did a lot better with weed or cannabis if I had that when I was younger going through school. Like I always did really great on tests or whatnot, but I believe I was on the spectrum where I had ADHD because I would not want to do the reading and whatnot. Like I just wasn't into that. Give me the test. I know what I'm doing.
Okay, but talking about the taboo thing, would you rather have a minor get totally fucking sauced out and drunk all the time, or would you rather have them be stoned? I can know what I feel. I would rather deal with a young pothead than I would a young drunk.
Yeah. I think that's for me at a young age, it was definitely kind of helped out whatever focus issues or even social issues that I had. I felt more acute, I could understand logical things when my creativity would get
but it was so sporadic though, dude. Like you didn't have a fucking steady supply when you're young. So
I also didn't think of anybody as being less of me for being a pothead or a stoner or a jock.
Way to keep that shit hidden.
You know what I mean? Like having done cannabis, I was way more accepting of. I had friends in every circle that was a clique.
Here's the
circle. You know what I mean? I finally went outside. Hopefully, he's gonna boost down some of this energy. Went outside and sniffed around a little bit. Maybe ate some little fungus out there. This whole thing going. But that's like, I guess that's adolescence for everybody, right? You gotta try to feel it out. But for me, it was easier for me to feel it out because I was accepted into, I didn't care if
I just made stoner friends. Man. Skateboarders were stoners.
Acid, like whatever. If you didn't cross me or if you didn't like whatever,
try to fleece me.
And a lot of times I didn't hang out with a lot of people outside of school because I had a lot of stuff going on. Like I lived really far from my school. I was a bus rider, so I didn't like walk to school like a lot of my friends did, and like they'd all walk home and like go hang out,
smoke joints on the way home, and shit.
Exactly. And do all that. I didn't do any of that stuff. I would so I was a very like non-social stoner. I was the type of kid that would like smoke on my own.
Loner stoner.
And I'd like do stuff like have hobbies that would include building stuff and doing all kinds of things that would grasp my attention. And I would do things like go for walks or go for a drive or go to the store and, hit my one hitter or whatever, and then go just be hyper focused on whatever it was that a task that I had to do. Sometimes it was homework, studying, just trying to concentrate. A lot of times I did not, this is all like probably post high school, because when I was in high school, I was in sports, and during the season, like when I was swimming and diving, or playing hockey or anything like that, I wasn't like smoking weed. I thought that it would like challenge my ability.
The propaganda was real, brother.
Oh yeah, I totally thought that it would like mess up my ability to like dive correctly and break a leg or something. So I didn't do it like the whole season. But, off season is when I do it, summertime and things like that when I was younger. And then I actually didn't do any sports like junior, senior year. So I got, not that I got more into it, not that I like got more into that kind of stuff, but I just kind of like, I didn't really care that I was around it or anything. And I did other things with my time. I got more into art and things like that. And,
Red, are you seeing the chat?
And I got a job. I had a job, dude. I'm not gonna lie. That took up my time, man. When I was a junior and a senior, I just started working. I wanted to make money. I got apprehended by the man. In the sense that it was taxes and that whole thing. Not actually. I had actually had to been in the system all fingerprinted and all that stuff from doing jobs for the city and work for the school
community service bullshit,
stuff like that. Yep. And I got the old MIP in college, and I went to college and did all that stuff. So I do have a small little misdemeanor from drinking alcohol in Western and all that fun stuff. Record? It's been long enough. I've never actually gotten it expunged, so I don't know if it's off my record or not. So that's something that I would have to like go through. But there's all that kind of stuff that like hinders getting into adulthood. But I mean, I was breaking the law, I suppose. But honestly, was I? I mean, it's
legislating that consciousness again.
I wasn't even doing anything, man. I was like in a dorm room, hanging out with some buddies. We were being too loud, and the RA came to shut us up. She saw and smelled some alcohol, so she called the cops. Me being a good, faithful kid, I fucking sat there and took
you ain't gotta been out.
I should have face planted that RA and been out of there, dude. And
you don't know me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't live here. Fuck off. If it was today, that would have been my response, but I wasn't. I was a fucking kid and I was terrified, and so I took it. You know what I mean? And I took the repercussion of it.
How old were you?
I was 18. It was college age, so like 18, 19. It was my first one.
Old enough to get in trouble for the shit. Yeah, no police contact.
Stupid.
That's when I got an MIP when I was 18.
Yeah,
those are a rough fucking shot for people, man.
Yeah.
That's an expensive one.
Ann Arbor has a really good thing set up where they get it off your record. You just have to pay a fine and like do a class.
It's funny how money makes things go away in the judicial system here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, but I understand there being restrictions, right? So as being a child and being able to access cannabis with a medical card and having reason from your doctor, Josie Wales has many reasons from her doctors, I'm sure, and has had them for a long time, probably her whole life. And I think for most parents, we have a lot of refugees because we're one of the first states to decriminalize the use of medical cannabis all the way back in 2008. We have a lot of refugees here. We have a lot of people who continue to utilize cannabis, CBD being one of those things. And now all of cannabinoids are being regulated at the state level now, if it's commercially operated. So you could still grow your own CBD. You can do all of that. But if you want to try to source CBD and you want to try to get it from a dispensary, it has to go through the regulated market. And not a lot of farmers are growing CBD in the regulated market. So you're kind of stuck to going to like head shops or gas stations and things like that. And, the reliability of
happybuds.com,
real CBD being in there, they go happybuds.com. Good plug their Skilbo for Skilbo. What do you use them for? You get flour and you can make your own extraction.
You can get all kinds of shit. Yeah, you can get flour, you can get trim. I showed this off on another show, but since this is a completely different show, I'm sorry. Yeah, Happy Buds. This is Suver Haze. It's premium hemp flour from happybudshemp.com. It says product contains a total Delta 9 THC concentration that does not exceed 0.3% on a dry weight basis. It has 16.2% CBD, 0.35% CBG, and Delta 9 is 0.25. This is
CBG too.
CBG.
Yeah, so this is an ounce. It's organically grown, premium hemp flour, lab tested for potency and purity by the whatever that is. I'm so blind I can't hardly read that. But so what I do is I buy this trim. So this trim was like $11 for an ounce. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to buy 16 ounces of MCT oil. And then I'm going to infuse that MCT oil with this trim. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a crock pot. I'm going to put some water in it, decent amount, and I'm going to float a bowl inside of it. And in the bowl, I'm going to put all this trim, and then I'm going to add the 16 ounces. So it needs to be at least that large. I'm going to keep that on high. I'm going to put a lid on top of it so that it doesn't evaporate all out. And I'm going to let it run for 24 hours. And then I'll strain that through what's called a nut milk bag. If you look those up on Amazon, they're not expensive, but they really, really do a good job. And I'll get everything out of it that way. and then you can use that however you want to. My intention is to use it for my elderly dog. She has a problem with her knees, and so she's having a really hard time standing up, and she's in a lot of pain. So I'm going to whip this up for her, and then I'll add a little bit of that to her daily dog food every day, and see if it doesn't help.
I want to add on to that point, but I want to get back to that point that we were making about youth cannabis and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
To your point about the Happy Buds and the CBG specifically in that, shout out to Shango Los.
I have another one that has 16% CBG too.
Oh, great.
So you can even get it higher than that.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So that's fantastic. Precursor to CBD and THC, as in both THC and CBD kind of come from CBG. Cannabigerol is what we're talking about.
Yep.
And Ethan Russo, Dr. Ethan Russo is a guest on Shangolos podcast. Shout out to Shangolos. You should all follow him.
Shaping Fire podcast.
Shaping Fire podcast. Thank you. Shaping Fire is his podcast. I highly suggest you listen to him for actual soil science and stuff like that. And he's been into entheogens and mushroom cultivation as well recently. And actually, he talks with Dr. Ethan Russo a lot about mushrooms. Terpenes coming from mushrooms as well. In fact, the book the week, I think a couple weeks ago, the terpene book, I think I have it right here. Terpenes for Wellbeing. This is not the book of the week this week. I have to get that real fast. But this discusses a lot of some of the terpenes
Clarity Science reading
that we're going to be using for
but we don't know about it beforehand, so we need to know about it beforehand so we can all read the book. Sorry.
Then we can have our discussion.
We're not talking about the book at the beginning
of
of the show. We're talking about the book at the end of the show.
I'm with you, Becca. I'm with you.
Terpenes coming from mushrooms. Anyways, the book talks about terpenes coming from mushrooms, which is pretty dope. Actually, like taking getting specific terpenes, like and extracting them from mushrooms or something like that. So anyway, I'm back to the old point there. Dr. Ethan, Ethan Russo, and they were talking about CBG being great for gut health. Like there's a lot of studies that they were using, and people with Crohn's and ulcer collective. I'm gonna get all these wrong. I'm just going too fast right now.
Ulcer colitis.
Yes, thank you. And all these other things and how they can help out with a lot of that stuff. Very, very interesting podcast. So anyways, back to the youthful thing. I was like 4. I was 12 or 13 years old, man. And it's fucking bummed me out, dude, because I was probably like 10 or 11 when I first heard about this. Unfortunately, Daddy Red remembers this, and this is kind of a bad, depressing story. I answered the back in the day. Most of you don't have this in your homes today, but you'd have these landlines, and when somebody would pick up the phone, everybody would pick up the phone. Hello. Oh, get off the phone. Get off the phone. Someone's on the phone.
Yeah, man.
So all the phones are connected. So the phone goes off. I answer the phone, and at the same time, I pick up the phone. I'm listening to my cousin calling my dad. She would every now and then, talk to my dad, and I pick up the phone. Oh, cool. It's Chris. My cousin's calling, and she's really upset. And so I'm kind of eavesdropping. I'm listening to the conversation, and she's discussing how she's really upset. She's kind of crying over the fact that she's going to lose her hair. I wasn't really sure what the fuck the conversation was over, but it was over her being diagnosed with cancer. At the time, she was probably like, 16 or 17. Cannabis, I was like 12 or something like this. So this is in the late 90s. Cannabis was far more taboo. Then Prop 215 or 216 or whichever one had already happened by this point. So it was like on the radar, but like I'm pretty sure that I saw some cannabis in like my uncle's drawer, and I'm pretty sure they knew what they were doing and, were every means possible type of thing. But at the time, access was non-existent, right?
Quality was shit.
And by the time, I was like 14, 13, 12 or 13, 14, whatever. She had passed away. She was only 18 years old. And I think if we knew then what we know today with cannabis treatments and with all kinds of other things, maybe, maybe, we don't know. It was a neuroblastoma, right? Brain tumor. Had it operated on, that whole thing. So may or may not have helped, right? But maybe it would have helped the treatment. Maybe it would have helped her. And I'm sure that, like I said, every means necessary. And I know my uncle, they probably were already using cannabis for it anyways. But nonetheless, it would have been great to know that that was on the radar for the doctor to suggest.
But if things had been different back then, she could have had RSO.
RSO, that's what I mean. High amounts of RSO.
Right.
That could have been maybe an option instead of the surgery.
Things down.
And honestly, the catalyst was the surgery, right? The surgery, as always, well, I hate to say that, but sometimes it goes as the catalyst, right? And unfortunately, that was the catalyst, was the surgery. So I always go back to this childhood, being able to be prescribed cannabis at any age because it helps. You see what CBD does with seizures, even with dogs. I mean, he's back here whining. He needs 1,000 milligrams of CBD. I think that's what he's whining about. And so he needs people need CBD. It actually is our CB2 agonist, right? And the main reason is that it helps boost our body's ability to be in homeostasis. Like, there's a huge reason for the endocannabinoid system, and it even may start at a young age because our body becomes deficient in anandamide and A2 in 2AG so fast. You see what ends up happening, that you could have tumors at young ages, and they can come out of nowhere. There's children much younger than my cousin that I know, and I'm sure many of us know. One of the reasons that I do grow my hair is also for that. I do like to donate my hair when it gets long enough. Shout out to anybody who does do that. Wigs for kids here in Michigan is one of the places I like to donate to. They don't charge for the wigs. I'm pretty sure a lot of places don't charge for wigs anymore, but I like to do wigs for kids, and I also like tossing a little extra cash support for buying kids hats and things like that. That's always really important. So dog is just fine, Blue Kiss.
Self-esteem, man. It's very fucking important.
Yeah, absolutely. When I heard her crying about that, I was like, oh, it was heart-wrenching, man. So and I think about that very, very often. Not to really get too far into it, a big reason cannabis and entheogens and microdosing and things, because I think about that shit all the fucking time. But mostly what I think about is the motivation that it gave me to really dig into cannabis and really get the ball rolling and say, cannabis is this awesome. And at the same time that was going on, I was listening to what was going on in California. It was in the news. It was, I was a young kid starting to get the internet, right? I could look this shit up. You search my browser history, I was looking up hemp and all kinds of shit. I could understand there was a building material and all kinds of great stuff. So that is where I get my motivation to grow cannabis today and kind of work in the industry. So back to the frustration of earlier in the episode about the township. One of the rules that they implemented, we talked about 5 acres and a couple of these, I can access and try to get more property. I can rezone and do the ag thing like they need me to. I can follow all of the red tape. I can cut through it slowly. It's going to take money. I'm going to have to build a fence around my entire fucking building. It's going to suck. It's going to be expensive.
Property. Not
the property, just the wherever you're growing cannabis. In our case, the whole fucking property, because we're going to want to utilize it. So this red tape's going to be stupid and expensive, right? But we'll get there in due time. What really bothers me is they implemented these ordinances at the patient level, not just the caregiver level. And I talked about having to smoke inside. You can't smoke outside on your property, even though you have an 8-foot privacy fence. But the other one is nobody under the age of 18 can consume cannabis in this township. Medical cannabis. Nobody under the age of 18. This is an ordinance. Nobody under the age of 18 can consume medical cannabis. And this strikes me. I'm like, this is my fucking township. And that one gets me, man. I don't have I don't have children who use cannabis, or I don't even live in this township. I own property in this township, and I do want to move there and everything. I want to be a resident, but I don't have any grounds for this to be a leg to stand on. But I know that somebody in there does, and this is terrible. And the litigation that comes from this one needs to hit hard on the city, because that's terrible that they're trying to restrict access to anybody under 18, because we know that Charlotte, how old was Charlotte when she was using cannabis to treat, and that was the catalyst for the CBD movement, man.
The baby that was at the rally.
The baby that was at the rally. Goodness. Yeah.
What really worries about this to me, Red, is because my little brother suffered greatly from the judicial system when it comes to cannabis when he was younger. For half a joint, it pretty much fucked up most of his teenage years. I'm worried about, because now that it says nobody under 18 can have it, is that going to make the punishment worse for these kids to get busted with a joint?
Yeah, my guess is that's it. They just want to bust kids with a joint. I don't know. I don't get it. I was actually mostly reading chat, and I just kind of heard the tail end of that. So I really apologize.
Oh no, I was just saying I'm worried about this law being, like, the wording in it, making it to where it'll be more harsh on these kids that get screwed over. Because I got personal experience with it in my family from my little brother. Like, he literally, it was just like a half of a joint in his cigarette pack when he was a younger kid, and he kept on having to go back and back into the system. And he really wasn't that bad of a kid. It's just they kept on fucking him over.
Yeah. I don't know if this is to, like, get kids in school, or where they're going to catch them smoking their cannabis. But it's what I think is cool that Josie Wales is trying to do is get schools to allow because right now you can't even you can't go get your RSO at the school nurse. You can go down there and get all your other medications, all your hormones, whatever you're on. You can go down to the school nurse and take those. Your ADHD medication, I'm sure. Any of that stuff, you can go down there and go take it.
It's all responsibly administered.
Yep.
Yeah, these behavioral problems that they're quote unquote having, I believe CBD in the schools would solve a lot of that. But
absolutely
crazy, I guess.
Well, you if you have your medical cannabis card and that's what you're using, and you should most certainly be able to have that stuff dropped off by the parents to either the school nurse, counselor, whoever's there to administer it. And then you go down at whatever time, 3 times a day or whatever, whenever you go down to take your Ritalin or whatever it is that you have to go down to the nurse to take, you got to go down there and you got to go take your other meds, your cannabis meds. And that's one thing Josie's really fighting hard for. And when she gets into some of these other school districts that are preventing it altogether, Jaden's law needs to pass. Thank you, Spartan. There it is. Jaden's law. That's it too. Actually, I believe Jaden's mother's been on Jazz Cabbage Cafe a few times.
Oh, with Jamie? Yeah.
With Jamie and Rick, yeah. THC.
Blue Kiss.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yep. And Blue Kiss reminds us that it also becomes an issue with CPS, having THC in your system. Yeah. So, and I'm not sure what you were doing. What you were doing is legal, but yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, it's legal, but you were going to restrict you a little bit.
It's like a fear that I have, if I have a kid, like, have to figure out that.
Yeah, my daughter-in-law stopped smoking through the whole duration, and just gotta be careful and stuff.
I almost regret voting yes on Prop 1, but one of the reasons that I did vote yes on it was because
Access.
it was they were giving protection, for parents. We had some parental rights within Prop 1, which is nice. You're allowed to still grow cannabis and have cannabis in the house, even if you have kids and things like that. And you're still considered responsible. So they put that actually in Prop 1 specifically because a lot of states are having big issues with that. I believe that was a big issue with Colorado when they first moved. People would be legal to have weed in the house, and then the neighbors would complain about the children, and then CPS would show up, and the parents would get in trouble because there'd be weed, or the odor would just be right there or something, So, and I never really suggest, or I'm definitely not on board of like filling the house with smoke if you have kids and that kind of stuff or whatever. But people parent the way that they parent, and a lot of times if you have filters set up and things like that, and the smoke's not getting around the house,
Just like anything else, smoke outside.
If the kid catches you doing it and you're taking your medicine, the kid's going to learn from an early age. You're just taking your medicine, and it's an adult thing, and then you just need to go back and go play. And if it's a time where you should be paying attention to your kid, you're probably a responsible parent. You're probably paying attention to your kid. Otherwise, your kid's able to be alone for a little bit and you're doing your thing.
A big thing people need to realize too, these moms or pregnant people that are having kids and smoking cannabis, they're not sitting there getting blown out. They're literally getting nauseated. They're hitting it once, and then they're relieving their nausea, and then they're
still
going
about
their day.
A dirty test, though, positive test.
I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of. I think a lot of the stigma is because they think that these moms are just sitting here getting absolutely blown
smoking
out
weed,
while they're
kicking them in waves.
That's another propaganda, fucking stereotype bullshit, gaslighting thing.
No. Yeah.
See, Wheatus says I never hid cannabis from my son when he was younger. He saw our grows, he saw the trimming, he never had any problems. Has a very respectable young man now. Cheers, Wheatus.
Yeah. It's a part of our lives. Like it's gonna have to be.
Like I don't have children, but in the future with having children, I would hope to have children in my future. I would imagine
you too will become a daddy rat.
That's all assuming nature's on my side, so I can't. Nothing's definite, so I don't like to speak in sures.
You're not jinxing. You're good.
So in the event of that, I would just look at it as just another plant in the garden and a piece of medicine and or something that I consume, and then
you just teach your children that you don't consume other people's medicine, whether it be grandma's glycerin pills or you know what I mean, those purple pills or whatever it may happen to be. Hey, don't take things that's not for you.
No. And some children need those prophylactic medicines in life, even at a young age. And so, at some point, there's a time that even children have to start taking them. So they got to get normalized to it just the same. They can't think that they're taking drugs, What do you think the kids feel like if they think that they're taking this illegal substance? It's like making people die, jump off bridges and shit.
It's all propaganda.
We're clicking. So it's all, like I'd hate for like kids to think that they're, oh, I'm sorry, I'm peeling
she took it away from
I'm peeling the back. I didn't realize it was her lighter. I'm like, what is
like, hey,
the lighter that I should not have bought, but it was expensive. But it's so cute.
Now you got to get some glue
out. Those boofing frogs?
Boofing frogs.
No,
they're all boofing.
Hugging.
Yeah. Boofo frogs.
I think they're
looks like there's a lot of boofing going on there.
Yeah.
Well, he's just peeling
they're getting each other's
okay.
Boofing in out of each other. Boofatonin or whatever it is.
Boof wise, sir.
Yeah. So getting into the new year 2022, got the city
wise
doing their thing. Yeah, going after kids, which sucks. I was expecting a bunch of red tape anyway, man. Like, I want to approach the city with some other options. I really want to purchase more property around there anyways, because I want a farm, and you have to like be 5 acres to be considered a farm. etc. Which I think that's where this 5-acre thing comes from. It makes a lot of sense that this 5-acre thing is just to like totally rule us out altogether. But also there is language that at minimum a farm language has to be 5 acres. Now, I was thinking maybe it's ag zoning, and minimum ag zoning is 5 acres, but our ag zoning is only 2 acres. So interesting to see what other districts are, what their other languages like farm is and this and that. 1,500 towns in Michigan. I don't have time to do research on them all, but I'm sure I could look into a couple local ones. But man, that's gonna really put a damper on this section of the state if they all start saying that you have to have 5 acres or more to grow cannabis as a caregiver. They're gonna cut out all the caregivers, man.
On like a home, like they want it to be your home too.
So yeah, you have to live there. It has to be your residence.
So now they want you to have 5 acres for.
It's better than some of these townships like us that are saying you can't be in an outbuilding. Oh man, that'd be even worse if you couldn't have your grow. Like I know a lot of people that do their grows in sheds.
Oh, like a shed or a garage.
Yeah, you can buy a shed for a couple $1,000 and insulate it and heat it. Abolish, you ever watch Doggo's videos? Doggo grows.
Oh yeah, he had a really nice shed set up.
He got a sweet shed set up.
Yeah.
There's
I've seen quite a few people do it over the years. Just a simple metal tool or whatever, sheds that you see in trailer parks. Nothing special.
Greenhouse now. Nothing special. Yeah. See, my plan is the old Trailer Park Boys version and get a little Airstream, dude. Airstream grow house.
You're gonna tinfoil the walls?
Oh yeah.
That was always my favorite part. Ricky had tinfoil on all the walls in there.
Oh, dude. I'd say that's probably the best use of an Airstream I've ever seen. It's probably one of the most expensive, one of the most expensive grow rooms I've ever seen, just because it's built out of an Airstream.
Got it for free though.
Right.
I guess so.
There's using somebody else's.
Do it up right. You got a $200,000 grow room sitting on. Well, guys,
totally resell for more.
We went for almost 2.5 hours. Talked a little bit about about this new year, about what you guys are getting into. Skilbo, how about you, man? What you got?
I really like it, man, because I see that we have a lot more people in chat. And as always, there's a lot of information passing going on in there and positive vibes. And I like the new time. I appreciate it. And if you like the new time, let us know in the chat or let us know in the comments below after this show goes off the air, because maybe now the next time the people that don't catch us live will be like, oh shit. So just remember to have notifications turned on for this, but we will be live Thursday nights at 9 p.m. And a good time for me to also plug that you can come through at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday nights for the Bro Show Live, with all 4 of us and the rest of the gang all together to talk grow, and then come back Monday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the late sesh with me and Red, as always, joined by Spartan and Sequence.
Sequence. Can't forget the seed.
Don't forget the seed this time. Sometimes you're there, but sometimes you can't be bothered and just rather just
That's it.
Becca, join. Becca, you join once, you're officially a member of the team. You have to be there every single week.
I was still sitting close
can't
by.
Let the chat fans down,
I'm still here.
It's looking good, man. It's looking good. As seeing
late sesh is MBGS royalty. It's the only show that Sequin hasn't canceled. He tried.
I know.
To,
yeah, I like that. I like that. We've been on a good run, guys. It's been a very nice run. I'm glad that we've this show is more of a spin-off of the late sesh.
Yes, I absolutely agree.
We started talking mushrooms in the late session. I was like, this needs to be a channel so that we don't lose Michigan Bros Show account. and I'm gonna start doing natural gardening stuff and food-based stuff on my Red Setter Farm account and all my like farm videos, because again, this channel is potentially a ticking time bomb. I want it to get as far as it can. I want it to build the community that it can. I should have a backup in place, but just know that I'm here at Red Setter Farm, and hopefully nothing does happen to that.
If it goes away, come back over to MBGS and find out where it went.
Exactly. MBGS and the group and everything. We're not going anywhere. We're always going to be available, whether it's on Twitch, or we'll just pick the next live stream, guys, or the next platform or whatever.
I still don't know
whether to follow everyone.
I do not know whether we were having a wake and bake with the Groskis this Saturday morning, but if we do, it'll be at 9 a.m.
9 a.m. wake and bake at the Groskis.
If there is one, I'm not sure if he's.
I really need to make a wake and bake. This
get your fucking ass up. You make it.
Never got to get out of bed.
Yeah, man.
I have been making it up. It's just I don't know. I haven't jumped in. I'll make sure I jump in next time.
Wiping my eyes.
Today was the first day I woke up early since I was sick.
Good.
For like weeks. I had to be up at 7:30. It's so sad. Still sad about it.
I got to be out at 7:30 tomorrow. I go back to work tomorrow as well. But feeling good. I got the house cleaned up for the most part.
Downstairs looks really good.
Oh, sweet. Oh yeah. I got the thumbs up. Green light that the downstairs looks good. Sequence, if you're listening to this, man, I got all my DJ equipment finally routed up nicely where I can fit a couple people behind it, and we can finally hang out down there. Yeah, we're finally.
He's only inviting Sequence, not me.
I want him to
just completely swerved us. Abolish.
Private DJ party.
No, you guys can come over for the DJ party too. Sequence has been hounding me about it for 2 years specifically, so I got to pay him.
He's been hounding you about Citrique for 2 years too.
Yeah, he's gonna have to come over. He can like I'll put a big bow on. I'll put a big bow on it and like dress it up really nice for him. And
maybe put like a little animal sticker on it.
We can spin some
googly
eyes and I'll make it all up to him with some cheesecake. I got some cheesecake and we'll have.
I don't even get cheesecake. Sequence. Come on.
Make sure there's a unicorn.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Good show, man. Good show.
No, it's chat, man. I really appreciate everybody coming out. I'm glad everybody. So I didn't do this on my own. I took your recommendations. You guys are up in the comments. Thank you all very much for making comments. I do read your comments. I went back through and I responded to a few of them. It's few and far between that I get down and start commenting back. Sometimes, a lot of times, I'm hustle and bustle and I'm just looking at my phone, making sure I'm not missing anything. Actually, I'm like super duper like emergency important, and then I'm on to the other thing, and then I get back to it, whenever I can. Finally got back to it, and I went back and I made some comments and stuff, and I also made some adjustments, including the time of the shows. We're permanently on this time schedule. I saw some people comment about how it's kind of just too late, they can't make the show, they're sorry, so hopefully you guys are able to come on back on at this 9 o'clock time slot on Thursday nights. And hopefully it's not going to keep anybody up too late, even though we just ran a good 2.5 hours. I'm cool.
We had a marathon to start at the new time zone.
It's not 1:30. Yeah, no, 11:30.
We were
still before midnight.
Fuck, we made 2 o'clock that one time.
Water the plants.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Skilbo, you weren't even there, and I went like 4 hours by myself.
Well, because I wasn't there to keep you on trail.
Just talking to myself in chat. Abolish.
It's all good content, man.
Feel free, man. You have any shout outs, brother?
Now we're gonna be professional.
As always, I got to shout out the Michigan Bros Girl Show. Find us over there. Make sure you got that notification bell on there and this channel. And as always, if you want to support me, like we said earlier, there's a nice little link to my Teespring on my Instagram. And other than that, I hope you're butt chugging responsibly.
My shout outs to you, Abolish. Thank you for putting that short together. That was pretty sweet today. It was just a random dropping.
Oh yeah,
that's short.
That's something. Me and Sequence have been kind of talking back and forth, little things going on. Like we got the MBGS as a whole, like the production team is quite a few different people, and there's a lot of projects going on, and that's one of the ones that are coming back. We used to do the shorts pretty much every
lunchtime
week
shorts,
after the lives, yeah. So now we have a bunch of shorts stacked up, and we're going to start dropping them on off days, hopefully that we don't have content going. So we'll have some more daily MBGS content.
You know what we need?
Very cool.
Is we need a late sesh omnibus.
We are.
I think like a show where you guys are all together is what's going to be the coolest and what people are going to want to see, honestly.
There it is. All of us together, hanging out. We need a studio, guys. Let's make it happen, chat.
Yeah.
It's with your support. Let's get the Michigan Bro Show.
We went from
studio.
changing days to fucking hook us up.
Studio audience.
We're gonna get a studio. These guys will get us there. Don't worry. This community is gonna grow. All you guys got to do is a couple things, man. Just like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Make sure you're listening. Throw some comments, and just make sure you're participating. And that's it. Even if you got headphones on, you're doing your thing. Take 1 second, and blast a little thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever. Just
only
engage,
takes 1 second.
you know,
Makes a mammoth
whatever it
difference.
Yeah, 100%. We
A
really
mammoth
appreciate it when you
difference.
guys do that kind of stuff, you know. And like I said, I'll try to get back to it when I'm able to get to questions, content concerns, or anything like that.
Concerns. We're not running a complaint line here, brother. Just good vibes only.
It is good vibes only, man. Thanks, Skilbo. I'm gonna bust that out of here, guys, because I'm just gonna keep on rambling away. So everybody, thank you very much for
Robert
tuning in.
Plant.
Player Science, really appreciate it. How about Becca? Do you have any last thing? A shout out or?
Cheers, guys. Good to be back. Cheers.
I'm glad you made it for the show.
I am too.
Me too.
Thank you all very much. And most importantly, I'm glad everybody was able to make it for the show and tune in. Thank you, chat. Appreciate you all.
Night.
Good night.
Dunzo. See, 50